Let's go!
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Thunder OU Sooner, first time in there, loving it.
All right.
Yeah, he was the first time to be the first one. I appreciate that. No name. Rumor has it that Lincoln and Grinchy are actually lovers. I'm not even.
That's not a rumor.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Okay, so OU Texas. Hey, it's Texas Hate Week here on Hall of Fame College Football. Red River Rivalry coming up this weekend. Everybody throw them horns down as you get in here. For our channel subscribers, you can use our horns down emojis just by becoming a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia. Just hit that little join button right there next to the like button, which if you wiped your feet, you would know where it is anyway. If not, just go to CFB-pod/join. And you can do that as well in there. Less than half of the cost of one of your Starbucks coffees, you can become a member of the Mafia. There is a lot of perks that come with that. We're going to have a lot of extra stuff. But anyway, appreciate everybody being here. What's up, Mike Steele?
Mike.
Steve B. Appreciate you guys all showing up in here. I'm sure we will have Hankster and some of these other folks in here as well soon. We're going to talk some about Red River. We're going to get into the video I just put out about Lincoln Riley and what happened this past weekend at CU. Kind of funny how, you know, it seems like you would think, you know, I got to thinking about it earlier, Coach, and you would kind of think that all this backlash that's coming in the direction of Alex Grinch, that the defense is so bad and blah, blah, blah. And it is. He's not good at what he does. Anybody who's watched Oklahoma football for any amount of time knows that he ain't the guy.
Right.
They've got some talent there, but they're still not getting it done. I mean, you have a 41-14 lead going late in the third and damn near gag it all the way up. If it wasn't for CU having zero urgency,
yeah,
they lose the game.
It could have been a ball. Yeah, it could have been. They could have won it at the end.
Yeah,
they just had no urgency.
None. You know, it took them.
That
obviously, it was
me.
taking them like 30, 40 seconds to snap the football. I don't know what was going on.
That stifled me. Yeah,
back-to-back runs. They didn't have a timeout after 7 minutes left in the fourth. I don't understand what that was about. But in any event, that was good luck. I mean, good for USC that they were able to, you know, have that happen there. What I would tell you is, I think that the reason that he continues to take up for him and, you know, as far as Lincoln goes, he's going to continue to, he's not trying to fire him. He never wanted to fire him at Oklahoma. And I think that the reason that he's doing that has to be because that's his human shield.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as long as he's got Grinch there, he's a high-paid human shield, man. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's keeping him protected. But you know, and I think James said it. Riley don't give a shit because he's on his way out. But he's not good. He's not protecting him. There's no doubt. You know, even in Jason, you mentioned this earlier when we were talking. He doesn't even. Not only does he not verbally protect him, he doesn't protect him while they're in the middle of a game by continue to throw the ball, not running the ball, running the clock down. So he himself is throwing Grinch under the bus.
Well, and it's the same. We've talked about this a lot, Coach. I mean, as much as I love Coach Leach, you know, he was a fun guy to be around, you know, and great dude. But he didn't give a shit about that defense and what they had going on. He just wanted to go out and score everybody. And Lincoln was there with him all during that time. He learned the same thing.
Yep.
I was telling somebody, though, in the comments earlier, it's like he's banging his damn head on the wall, refusing to change anything. And it's just like, oh, no problems here. And literally, even USCJ, I saw that where USCJ, and then I was watching part of that, and I like USCJ. You know, he's not Prangley. I like him. But the thing is that you start thinking about, hey, what's up, Hankster, Stephen G? Yeah, hey man, we're getting them all in here. James Chicken, what's up, buddy? Steve B, Cliff Walker, what's up, bud? Glad everybody's in here. Everybody keep coming in.
Keep it coming, love. Keep it coming, love.
It is ego steal. It is. It's got to be it. You know, that there's no really two ways around it. Is that he doesn't believe. Think about it at the end of his, even the night before he left Oklahoma after they lost the Bedlam game. They had they'd been having issues throughout the season in a lot of areas, but one of them was in special teams. And the last question that got asked to Lincoln before he walked off that stage was, are there any thoughts about you hiring a special teams coach? No, absolutely not. You know, absolutely not. Hey, if you would like one of these hats, all you got to do is jump onto our podcast merch website right here above me, hofmedia.us/pod-merch. You can get all into our SUC line, our horns down line, all of that, guys. So be sure to jump in there, check it all out. Yeah, listen, again, you know, and we don't have to spend too much time on this. I just wonder how long, my wonder was how long it was going to take for these crazy USC fans to finally realize that Oklahoma fans aren't just full of crap. You know, that we're not just talking out of our ass here.
It'll be after their first loss. It's going to be after their first loss because somebody's going to run all over their ass. They're going to have 500 yards of rushing offense.
You know, Kirk, I would tend to agree with you on that, but there was a time there at Tech, and that was whenever I was over there and covering them, and Lincoln was there, and they had some players on the defensive side of it. They were recruiting pretty well. That was around that time that they were able to, you know, they beat Texas that year, still lost to Oklahoma. But if you're not, it's hard to, you don't have to choose between the two. You don't, because here's what you have to do is you have to make it, Coach, how would you put this? You got to make it to where a defensive coach that's worth his chops wants to be there.
He ain't ever getting that because,
right,
guys, he's not going to get that because he's already established, just like most of those guys in that system that all came from the same leech tree. Yeah. They don't give a shit about defense. They don't give a shit about special teams.
They don't.
They just want to air the ball out and score as many points as they can, no matter what the consequences are to the defense.
And Kirk, I think you're right as far as you have to have a lot of players. But here's the thing. When you're in a Power 5 conference, don't tell me that you can't do it. Because there's a difference between being at ECU or freaking somewhere like that and being at a Power 5 conference school that's competing with Texas and Oklahoma and guys like that. Or if you're at SC, for God's sakes, or Tennessee, and you can't go out there and put a defense together. Come on, man. That's bull crap.
Chicken, I don't want that visual. Please don't say that again.
What is the matter with you, bro? Love the hat. Free advertising for Texas. Oh, it is? Yeah, for Texas sucking. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah. Glad you're here, though. Yeah. We're going to hate on them. It's not that. Look, you know what? That's exactly what Lincoln Riley said when he left Oklahoma. Except now they've already gotten it's like 7 top 100 recruits to commit or already at Oklahoma since Coach Venables has got there. It just takes doing the right thing.
It's only hard to put a D together if you don't give a shit about defense. I mean, you can get a good defensive but you got to have the system. You got to get good defensive players, but you got to have a system. And he has no system and does not care about a system. It is bottom line is offense, offense, offense. That's it.
Yeah, and look, and I get it, and I'm a fan of the offense. To be honest with you, they can go out there and put you in jeopardy right now. I mean, and Lincoln is better than any of them at getting guys open, scheming somebody open, and putting his best against your best, and beating you a lot of times. The problem is that if you're not doing it in the trenches, then you're going to get your ass kicked because they're going to. And when you get up against an SEC program, that they're even some of the lower tier SEC programs are going to be considerably better than what they are in the trenches, which gets them hurt. And Caleb's been running for his freaking life all season, and they only just now played a team that's any good. And I don't know how great CU is. They're you know they just don't have a lot.
They're okay. They're okay, Jason. But they're
right.
but you know the problem at CU right now is their depth and their line, their O line, D line. They're just not there yet.
Yeah.
The skill players, they'll compete with anybody in the country, skill player wise. They
of course
just
they
don't have the depth. And
right.
But you know, when
like
somebody like that, when somebody like that,
too.
you know, Jason, when somebody like that doesn't have the depth, but they still come back and almost beat you in the fourth quarter,
that tells you a lot about the other. Yeah, it tells you a shit ton about the other program we're talking about.
Yeah,
and where they are. Yeah. Well, but okay, so here's the thing. He went out and got blue chip transfer guys. Now that whether they're fits or not, you know, as far as but he doesn't really care that much about, you know, Lincoln doesn't really care that much about the culture that you get in there. Mason Cobb, I think he's a hell of a linebacker, but Bear Alexander, I mean, he was basically the top rated defensive lineman in the country coming into the season. And he got him out of Georgia. He had 2 sacks in the national championship game last year. They've got a guy from Texas A&M, that 5-star guy that transferred out of their safety. They've picked up some guys through the portal. It's not even just that. They're also not okay. The other thing we were talking about, when you're up 41-14 and you've got the number 2 rated Pro Football Focus running back in the country, and he doesn't touch the ball for the entire fourth quarter. You're still throwing it around with that kind of lead. What are you doing? That's how you freaking repel good defensive coaches right there.
That's their modus operandi. So, like I said, the Leach Tree, those guys, that's their modus operandi. Yeah, and I saw where somebody asked a question about, you know, when you're that good at OC and can, you know, play that well, why don't you go get a good defense coordinator? Because I think we talked about it earlier. That defense coordinator is your scapegoat in case you don't win, because you're going to score a lot of points. Yeah, absolutely. You know you're going to score a lot of points, but if it doesn't go well, then you can put it on the defense coordinator. And that's been all of those guys have not had defense coordinators. Right.
No, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it, Coach.
And if you have any sense, which, you know, college football coaches, you don't have a little bit of sense. And if you have any sense at all, why the hell would you want to go be the DC for one of those guys?
No, I mean, you know, when they don't get, I mean, he hangs Alex Grinch out to dry.
They're going to shit on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there we go. Hey, you're right about that, Sooner Cowboys. Find something I can deal with that you say in here. That a boy. Yeah, they just shouldn't show up. Hey, man, I watched that freaking Barstool. We Love Texas circle jerk last night that they had going on in there. Good grief. Brandon Walker is the biggest tool in the world. And then you even have a freaking Aggie loving on Texas in there. She's a freaking Texas A&M alum, and she was loving on them. They all called in the number 1 team in the country. In what universe are they number 1 in the country? But you know what? This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing because I'm going to tell you what, they have all the pressure on them. Texas does. They have all the pressure on them. Yeah, he does hate OU. But that's it. You know why he does? I don't even know how real the hate is. Here's what it is, guys. Oklahoma fans are the most passionate, particularly on social media, that there is in college football. You come after an OU person, they're coming after you in droves. What did Kuz say whenever he was on the show last week, man? The fangs come out the second somebody says something about Oklahoma. And they're not wrong. Look at that jackass freaking Colin Cowherd. Same thing. He does that crap just to make sure his clicks are up.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Dresses up in latex. I love it. Boomer 129 is the man.
You know, talking to what Hank said right there about defensive coaches hire offensive coaches. You know, I think there's a lot of truth to that. They know they got to be successful. But guys, you go back and you know this has been since football started. If you can play defense, you're going to win a lot of ball games. And if you have a great defense, you're going to win some national championships. But you know, and I know this is just one of those isms, but I tell you. I always used to talk to our team on defense about if they don't score any, it don't take many. And you know, you don't have to have many points if you hold them scoreless. So defense is still the key to being successful.
No doubt about it. Hey, the old story of defense wins championships is still applicable. It's not changed any at all. And one thing I will say about Texas is they have a pretty good defense as well. They might have the guys in the trenches that if they were to make it into, hey, Bishop Frank, thanks for the renewal, man. We appreciate that. Thank you. If you folks would like to become members of the Hall of Fame Mafia, please hit that join button and get those special perks as well. But hey, thanks a lot. If you know, and for doing that, you got whatever you want to say. I'm going to pop it up on the screen anyway there, Bishop Frank. But leave the moms out of it. Boomer. What are we talking about? oh, no, we can talk about Sark's mom. Shoot, no, I'm just kidding, man. I'm trying. I don't hate on Sark that much. I do as far as his coaching is going. I have to say that I respect the fact that he was able to quit drinking the way he was because he was in a bad way for a while. You know, but yeah, you're right. The whole chicken nail on the head right here. All the pressures on Texas this week.
Yep.
All the pressures on Texas. Everybody, somebody in here said OU's looked at us soft. I think that's hilarious, by the way, because if you've watched Oklahoma at all, you see that that's not the case. No longer is this Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma Sooners to where they're, you know, that freaking soft ass David Robinson type. This is KG, rip your arm off if you get in front of me while I'm dunking it. That's what they're doing now. They have taken on the attitude of Brent Venables, period. This is how they roll. And I love it. So, oh my God. She comes from both sides of the family. That's hilarious. But man, you don't
oh my God.
It was hilarious, bro. 7 hero.
That is funny.
Sark. Yeah. 7 sub Sark's mom or what? Wow, that was awesome. Look, yeah, of course. But you know what? This is Sooner Cowboys. You got to realize that a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's so many college football teams. Not that there's that many that are good, but so many people are lazy. That's the other part. And a lot of it has to do with clicks. I'm telling you, it has a lot to do with clicks. But I'm telling you, there is a laziness problem in sports media now. It's so much easier to just say, oh, you sucks. They sucked last year. They lost 5 freaking games by 1 score. There's no way that you could duplicate that if you wanted to. You know, even with and look, they were they didn't have much talent on that football team last year. A lot of the talent that they have right now, think about that. They're playing 30 guys in a rotation on that defensive side of the ball, which, and if you think they're soft, did they make a couple of mistakes last week? Yeah, they did. But that's what I even saw. And, I like the guys over at Sikkim 365. I like those guys. But even Smokey was saying yesterday that, well, they gave up the 2 long touchdowns and then they gave up a 39-yard run. Yeah, they did. They did. They made a mistake on the run. They didn't set the edge, and he got outside. He made a nice run. The 2 pass plays, they were trying to jump those routes in the wrong part of the field. We talked about that. The middle part of the field is not the spot to jump a route like that. You got to do it on the sideline. But since they had gotten that pick 6, they were smelling blood in the water. They didn't respect Iowa State that much. They thought they could get in there and do it. They turned into touchdowns. Once they settled in and played with some discipline, they shut them down for the rest of the 40 minutes of the game. The first 20 minutes of the game, they gave up 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. The last 40 minutes, less than 100 yards, no scores. And I'm not saying that you can afford to do that. You can't afford to do that against Texas. You don't want to get out there and have that problem, right? You just can't do it.
No.
But I also don't think that that's what they're going to do either. They also, of course they're going to respect Texas. Now, they're not going to like Texas after what happened last year. That's the other thing. You got, I heard Smitty everything was like 49. You got to do 49 of this and 49 of that. And Smitty's been freaking that 49-0 number has been all over the walls and everything else at the Switzer Center for a year. They probably hate the number, period. Look, they're playing with house money, though. If you play close enough to them and you get an opportunity to do it again, you got a chance. Yeah. Look, and Kirk, think about it, because it's easier to say, you know what, Venables didn't do very good in his first year. You can listen to what Cowherd says and Lincoln was saying that, hey, he got an 11-2 program from you. He did not. You lost more than 40 players off of that 11-2 team. Wasn't there, including 2 5-star quarterbacks.
Well,
a lot of the 13 guys off of the defensive depth chart either transferred out, went to the league, something like that. They were gone. And it wasn't even a damn good defense. We know this. And yet they still lost a bunch of games by 1 score. Oklahoma fans that pay attention knew better. They knew what was coming this year. We've been talking about it since last offseason. Since the offseason. We knew. Yeah, giving up 9 points a game. Now, is that a little skewed because you hadn't really played anybody yet? Yes. Yeah.
But here's the thing. But let me say this, Jason.
You got to handle your business, right, against those teams. Go ahead, Coach.
And that's what you were going to make the same comment as I was going to make, was you still have to handle business. I don't care if you play Oklahoma School of the Blind. You still have got to handle your business because offenses today can score. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. Hell, ask me about Marshall last year when we played Marshall. They beat our ass, and again, they shouldn't have
one of
been
those
in the
games
game
every year that Lincoln was the head coach. They didn't lose them all the time, but they were the Tulane game that Tulane had one freaking win. They won 40-35.
I could always.
They won 13-15.
You're exactly right. I could always count on OU to drop a game that they shouldn't, whether it was against Texas Tech or whoever,
like
K-State. I mean, they would always do that. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. And you guys know this. I've made statements over and over. Your schedule is so friggin' weak. It makes me want to throw up. But let me tell you this. Even with me saying that, I still believe y'all have a good football team.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to show this Saturday that y'all do have a good football team. And I truly believe OU is going to upset Texas this weekend.
Look, man,
Guys, the stage is set. The stage is set for an upset.
Well, here's the thing. Oklahoma, even the kids that, I mean, even if it's your first year here, you know Oklahoma can beat Texas. Texas thinks they can beat OU. Oklahoma knows they can beat Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Venables knows he can beat Texas. They've done it a number of times.
Yeah.
Texas hasn't won a conference championship since 2009.
Plus, it's a rivalry game. Rivalry games, that you know how rivalry games are. I don't care if one is ranked number 1 in the country and the other one's ranked 125th in the country. Rivalry games are anything's going to happen.
Out of the 3 times that Texas has beaten Oklahoma in the last 10 years, one of the times was Charlie Strong's season that he was in, and they were shitty. They were shitty.
Yeah.
I don't think they gave Charlie enough time, but I mean, it is what it is.
I agree.
But, you know, I mean, in the end, they were not good. They were not good. Yeah, I think he's better than Rattler, but he's not. I think that he's look. He played in. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. You can say what you want about Alabama being what they were, and I don't think they're the same football team today that they were when Texas played them. I'll give you that first.
Exactly. But they sucked when they played them.
They did, but you have to look. The one thing. What do we always say? What do we always say about Sark coming into the season? The dude doesn't make adjustments. When the other team does make its adjustment, he doesn't. They lose. They've been a second half football team this year, which is, hey, I wouldn't have called that. I wouldn't have called that. You know, I'm going to give him that. Yeah, John Blake won in Dallas. Come on. Yeah, no, listen, it happens. And hey, listen, the one thing you got to say about Blake, that dude could recruit his ass off too, man. He could recruit his ass off too. That you know, Coach Stoops' championship was pretty much with his players. That's it. Yeah, I don't know that he will. I think you have to continue doing that, man. I really do. And here's the thing: it's a rule in the SEC that you're supposed to play a Power 5 out of conference school every year. They've got some waiver stuff to it because of all this realignment stuff, but it's part of what's supposed to be going down. Now, when they go to the 9-game schedule, it may change a little bit. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but yeah, no. Well, the reason that didn't Sankey killed that game. Sankey killed that game because he didn't want it to mess up the conference schedule to where Oklahoma owed them a home game. That was what it was, right? Yeah, yes, I know. Right. But that didn't have anything to do with the SEC, Freelance. But Greg Sankey made that decision that he told him to cancel the game. Look, and you know what, Coach, you were talking about that. That was, hey, what would you be able to say? The one thing you can say about Texas is they haven't played anybody except for Bama. And when they played Bama, Bama was not like this. They played Wyoming, Coach, shit. And they've played
Wyoming
all backups.
Was in their shit basket.
Yeah, they were. But they played everybody's backup so far, too, except for Alabama.
Elio.
What's up, my man? Good Tuesday evening, listening from South Plaza in KC. Mo, welcome back to the show, my friend. Appreciate the super chat. Always good to us whenever you come in here, man. Appreciate that a lot.
With Nelio doing that, guys, wipe your feet. Wipe your feet.
Wipe your feet. Yeah, let me check and see how many likes we got so far. So yeah, there's 15 likes and we got 50 folks in here watching right now. Come on, man.
Come on, guys. Hit the like. Hit the like.
That's
even if you don't like our ass, hit the like.
gift it to us, like Jay says, gift it to us, or hit the dislike. It doesn't matter. It all helps. It all helps the algorithm. And look, that is the one way, as I've said a number of times, that's the one way, free way for you to support this show. If you enjoy coming in here talking trash with us, because we do a lot of that, I know.
You
look,
do, I don't.
Oh no, never, right? Yeah. Shut up, chicken. Yeah, he did.
I hope you got dressed, chicken.
Yeah, bro. Don't be talking to me naked, weirdo. Yeah, Bama will lose to Tennessee or Auburn. I don't trust Tennessee. And here's the thing: if you watched Alabama the last couple of weeks, this is not the same team that played Texas. At least as far as I think that it only took them not putting Milroe in a position to where he had to. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Neilio. We appreciate that. You come in and you hit the like button and give us a super chat. Appreciate
awesome,
it.
Dude.
Much appreciation, guys. Make sure everybody else is doing that. Wipe your feet, man. Wipe your feet. Come on. All right. Now, again, talking about Alabama, I just think that when it came to Tommy Rees, and Coach will tell you all about Tommy, he was forcing him to win the game with his arm, and that's not who Jalen Milroe is. You want him to run the offense, hit short passes and deep passes. Nothing precision, kind of the same thing that you saw with Jalen Hurts when he was at Oklahoma. Lincoln did a great job of protecting him, not putting him in situations where he was going to fail. They still do it with the Eagles. If you notice, he hits guys on 5 to 7 yard routes, non-precision, and then he hits deep balls because he can throw it a long way, and you don't have to be that accurate there. You're going to have a receiver go run underneath it.
Yep.
That's how some guys are. That's what you want. And with Jalen, you can run too. And it's the same thing with Jalen Milroe, right? Same thing. That's not what Tommy was doing. Tommy was trying to make him a pocket passer, and that's not what you want.
I can sum up Tommy Rees as an offense coordinator in one word. Sucks.
You don't think he'll get better working under Saban?
I think he can learn some things from Saban. Yes, I do. I don't think he's going to have a choice. Because I think at this point,
the best thing he could do for his career, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When Saban put Milrose back in there, that was his decision. That wasn't Tommy's decision. And he's starting to make those decisions offensively of who they need to be. Because let's talk about Buckner on their team. Tommy tried to make him a passer too, and he sucked.
And
you already saw that this season.
The best part of USF is in freaking Colorado right now, and they almost lost that game.
Oh
man! Hey, what's up? Mind gun sweetness. What?
Wiping his feet.
Wiping them feet. Thank you for coming in, man. We appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go through some of these little chats here. Always with chicken.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
I think A&M's going to beat
Chicken's
Alabama.
Killing me.
You know what? So the Cowboys, I'm going to tell you that as much as I don't really believe in Texas A&M for any reason, they haven't. Aside from that Miami game, they've looked pretty good. They have.
Yeah, I agree.
Defensively, you're not going to find a lot of better teams as far as talent-wise in the country. They can play defense with anybody in the country. And with Petrino, you only have to put together so much offense. You know. Hey, chicken, by the way, that was your freaking fault that I ate that whole pizza. Shut up. Maybe OU plays Georgia for the national championship game. Possibly. Hey, here's the thing. I was watching Coach I's show before we came on, and something that people aren't realizing. It's the defense that is hurting at Georgia right now. They allowed Auburn, who hadn't moved the ball on anyone, to push them all around. You got to remember that weird things happen on the Plains, though. And that's the oldest rivalry in college football, period, in the South, right? Here he comes. Speak of the devil. Here comes Coach I as we speak. I don't think that Georgia is as bad as everybody thinks they are. Coach I.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Coach?
Coach, how you doing?
Hey, man, you know how it is, man. Just over there letting out our feelings about the dogs. You know how it is.
Yeah, you guys were
just talking about the dogs a little bit.
Hey, they weren't talking any nicer than you were, Coach. I promise.
Yeah, you know what the thing is, it's like Oklahoma's at that level too, where you don't settle for mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? So you compare it to fair or unfair. You compare it to past teams and past performances. Sure. It's just what you do. I mean, Coach knows that you do that with your own teams. You want to know, why could I do it last year, but we can't do it this year? That type of thing. And we want to know, why things aren't looking the same. Not necessarily, 2021 defense, not allowing touchdowns at all. But hey, man, when you're 114th in red zone TD defense, that's something to be discussed.
Well, and that's where that's what we were just talking about. That's where they're struggling right now is defensively. I mean, and what we were talking about earlier in the podcast is, that old adage still hasn't changed, guys. Over years and years, defense still wins championships.
Big facts.
Offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
You got to be able to make the stop in the crucial times. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, scoring defense, we're still doing good, but it's like if you can get past the 20 in the red zone,
shape.
You're in good shape against us.
Well, hell, at least y'all play with 11.
Ooh, facts. Hey,
everybody, welcome to the show, Mr. Eric Cooper. Welcome into the show, man, from Unfair Sport. You guys came in right at the right time, man. Good timing. Is Shorty coming in too? Is Shorty
I think so. I made sure to end, we always have a backstage session after the show. I made sure to end it pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah, man. Hey, it was good that man. We had John Stitch.
I was like,
Stitch. We had John Stitch. Hey, listen, man. We had to, man. It's time to talk about the offensive line. And one thing, Stitch, he was All-American, played for the Saints when they won the Super Bowl, and he knows about playing the offensive line, and he doesn't hold back.
Right. The Kraken is the sea monster from Clash of the Titans. That's exactly correct, sir. Correct. Yeah. Throw them horns down. Throw them down.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. And hey, everybody in the chat, make sure to take your shots at Coach I for picking the Texas Longhorns in the Red River Shootout this weekend.
I did.
I
took them 31 to 30. I told Jason I didn't want to do it, man, but I had to leave my heart at the door, dog. Like Sark is their negative, but top to bottom, I do feel like they have a better roster.
That will be the last time Big Bumbo gets anything on the screen. That was a total accident.
Hey, but we all know this, Coach.
I also said that I wanted to be wrong. I also said I wanted to be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Here they come. They come.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. Chicken already been giving me hell, man. Talking about
Texas me around to every video you did, bro.
What's crazy is, man, I had a Texas fan tell me I sound like an Oklahoma fan. I'm like, bro, like I thought I called the preview pretty even. You know what I'm saying? I gave both teams credit, called out weaknesses for both teams. But
fair enough.
Hey,
man,
I hope I'm wrong.
You didn't even make me mad with it. I'm just doing it to bust your chops. You know that.
Yeah. No, man, it's all love, man. Chicken, my guy, man. He Chicken was on the Arizona State, Colorado video talking about Texas, Oklahoma. But shout out to Chicken, man, for getting the comments going, because that video soon after that took off.
He regrets it now. Sooner in Texas says he had a rough night of drugs and booze.
Yeah.
Don't we start rumors though?
Oh God.
Funny stuff, guys. Funny
stuff. Can I? What are we talking about at the moment? Because we got a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, we've been talking. Well, we started off talking about Lincoln Riley because I made that video earlier about where they are, and it's just funny to me how he's been exposed for all the bullshit that's been out there for all this time, right? When you see, we were talking about it, they hadn't played anybody that really was going to test them, but when you get a guy like Shedeur that can, even though they had a 41-14 lead at the end of the third quarter, they're freaking
still throwing,
almost lost the shit.
Yeah,
still throwing the ball.
Yes,
you watch the body language. Well, I mean, listen, we said it every single year that Lincoln was here. We are Texas Tech North. It's Texas Tech with better talent, and he goes after these big dogs. And guess what? Here's one thing that I said the other night on Sunday show is Malachi Nelson and no other backup quarterback is getting any type of run because of this. And so what's that going to do? Now you've got a Spencer Rattler type situation coming into next year to where you've got this highly regarded quarterback and we got no idea about him. And, it's not like, even Jackson Arnold, getting played through several different games. You're not seeing that from a lot of these teams because they're playing with their food and they go out there. But, Lincoln's the one who's got his little note card of doom and he's calling those plays. But when you don't, and listen, Caleb Williams is out of this world. He is phenomenal. But here's a profound statement. Everybody ready? We all know that Peyton Manning was a good college quarterback, but because he couldn't go win a national championship, when you're throwing out big college quarterback names, we always forget about Peyton Manning. That's what Caleb Williams is going to be before too long. Now, unless he wins a second Heisman, but you're going to know.
How are you going to do that when you lose 4 games?
But if that's the case, yes, then he's not in that factor. But let's go with they lose 2 games. It's undeniable, and because it's going to be because of the defense. I mean, the scripts are written out. They're not going to throw a 20 up on the board at any point, unless they just get ransacked by a Utah or an Oregon or something like that. But that's what it's going to turn into. Is Caleb Williams is going to be remembered as a good quarterback, and that's it. And he's really, really good in college, but they're like, why? How could he couldn't win one? And he's got all the highlight tapes.
That's what I said in the video. They're wasting all this talent away on the fact that it would have gotten wasted at Oklahoma too. If he stayed, if Lincoln stays around, Oklahoma does the same thing. This is no different. And that's why I said that we have seen this. I've said this 1,000 times. We've seen this damn movie. I even put a couple of clips in. You guys really should go watch that video. It's kind of funny in a couple of spots that, where, you think about like Back to the Future when Marty's like, hey, I've seen this one. It's a rerun. We've seen this rerun. Yeah. It's no different.
It is. It's going to be really, really, it's going to be amazing because, I mean, you think about this. If Caleb Williams stayed at OU and didn't follow Lincoln, OU goes 9-3, 8-4 last year. And this year, I mean, you tell me with Lincoln Riley with Caleb Williams at the helm right now with this team.
Yeah.
Like what does that look like?
Yeah, because as much as I like Dylan, he is not Caleb Williams. We all know that.
No,
nobody is.
He's going to be a guy who has a cup of coffee like Heupel or White or something like that in the league. He might stick around because he's a good guy and stuff like that. But he's going to need who was the K-State quarterback from a couple years ago who was the 4th string quarterback for the Dolphins and made it on there. And you're like, well, everybody's saying like if he's starting, Spencer Sanders can go start. So that's going to be it. So, and Caleb Williams could come back next year.
Were we talking about
Klein?
Klein.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the joke. And the joke is going to be, they've got the run. They didn't skirt past all the people. And Lincoln doesn't want to take a brand new Malachi Nelson into Minnesota or Ohio State or Michigan or Rutgers or any of these teams in the winter. He doesn't want to do that. And so you just mark my words is I will be extremely surprised if Lincoln Riley's in college football next year. Extremely surprised.
I mean, yeah, I that's been on the writing's been on the wall for a while.
Skylar Thompson. It was Skylar Thompson. Really? It wasn't Colin Klein because Colin Klein. Colin Klein because it didn't Drinkowitz forget Colin Klein's name before the K-State Missouri game.
He did that was funny. He knew who the hell Colin was. Yeah, that's funny.
But and then I heard you guys talking about Saban too, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've been a little mixed bag so far.
4 weeks before the season, I said, don't be surprised if Texas goes down there and beats them because Alabama doesn't have their shit figured out at quarterback. And then after game one, I thought, well, maybe they do. Well, now they still don't. And so, I mean, he is scrapping because that defense, any defense looks good if you can do ball control offense and score and change the script for the other team. They can't score like that now. Now it's still Nick Saban, and he's still a genius, and there's the Alabama name, and he's still going to throw curveballs at you. And he's got that Belichick where he's going to, whatever you want to do, he's going to take it away. But, this is how long does Nick Saban want to hang out in the SEC and, challenge for third place? He's 70 plus years old now, and he's not going to want to do that for too much longer.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're going to talk a little bit of Heisman coming up here. Hey, listen, I think the Heisman is wide open right now, but I think Michael Penix is the guy right now too. I think that right now he's the guy.
He was my preseason pick.
I like him, man. I like him. Hi, Lori. How are you? I don't know that. I mean, I'm not always going to be in your heart too. Golly.
So right now, Fox Sports. It has posted Caleb Williams is plus 170, Michael Penix plus 400, Bo Nix, Jesus, help me, hold on a second, plus 900, Quinn Ewers.
They
plus
do really well at marketing at Nike. You do know that, right? It's just a Nike thing.
Jordan Travis plus 1,600, Dylan Gabriel at sixth place at plus 1,600. So we'll see one of those two drop, unless it is a 31-30. Both teams play really, really well. You probably won't see one of the other guys drop, but I mean, it is absolute. I mean, it's going to be great. And the rush you tell me that there's not people in either, what two teams share a stadium in the NFL who would love to have Caleb Williams next year?
New York.
The Jets and the Giants.
The Jets and the Giants. And I also think that Denver is probably going to be right there for him.
Bro, as a Denver fan, Russell Wilson looked like a baseball player who got a 90-day suspension and came back and couldn't swing the bat anymore. He is, it's bad. It's really bad. And it's terrible because I don't think that there's another perennial all-pro quarterback that Denver can pull over next year. And they got Russell Wilson 2 years too late.
Yeah, something happened in his brain, I think. I don't know what's going on with Russ. It's such a weird deal, right?
Hey, man, same thing happened to Grant Hill, baby. Got that fine woman, and it was a wrap.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that.
Hey, what did Mickey say in Rocky? Women, weekend leg.
Hey, dog. Hey, he ain't hungry no more.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, did you see that the chicken threw out there, Coach I?
Yeah, no, because I want Oklahoma to win. No, I was dead set on the Texas Alabama thing. So listen, nah. Is it
too to say that whichever quarterback plays up to their potential wins the game?
I can see that.
It's going to be one way or the other overcoming a strong defense. But I do say this is, Jalen Milroe, his best game passing was against Texas. So I'm not as high on the Texas defense as most people are, especially with some of the what we saw in Cincinnati, and then getting a good defensive test. I mean, the Iowa State defense is still Iowa State, and it's a problem that Riley couldn't solve. But it's a problem that it seems that 2 years in a row Levy has done a good job with.
Okay, Chris from the Horns Down podcast, throw him down, Coach. Let's go. Hey, yeah, we're loving it. Welcome to the show, okay, Chris. What's up, man?
Not much, man. What's up? What's up with you guys?
Man, chilling, man.
Here talking shit.
Talking some football.
Shit. Yeah, we've been all over Lincoln. We've been deciding reasons why Texas is going to get beat. I love it that here's the thing, and that was one of the things that we started bringing up is we were talking about that incessant freaking Barstool Texas circle jerk last night on their little podcast thing they had going on with Brandon Walker. Even the Aggie freaking picked them. to as the number one team in the country. Who the number one team in the country? Are you shitting me?
They picked Texas as the number one team in the country?
Every one of them. All four of them.
That's hard right there.
So
And one
did
of
you guys
them's
also
an
know
Aggie.
That's hard.
Texas played all backup quarterbacks.
I know.
10-10 Wyoming game going into the fourth quarter. So if you're telling me that you're going to bump Georgia down for struggling how they have at this point, how the hell are you going to reward Texas for the same performances?
I don't think Texas should be number one. I don't think we should be number one. To be honest with you, I already told you. Even though they struggle with Arizona, I think Washington should be number one. That's just me.
Well, I know we always talk about the polls are for the fans to have fun with, but guys, the polls are shitty as hell. I mean, I don't care how you slice it or dice it. They suck. And there's too much of, I'm a Texas fan or I'm a OU fan or I'm a Notre Dame fan or Georgia fan or Alabama, and I'm going to vote for them. Guys, let's be real. I mean, I see crap where, and Coach, I just said it. Should Georgia be number one? After last week, probably not. Now, should they be in the top four? Yeah, absolutely. They ought to be in the top four. But
Sure.
but you can go down the top 25 list, and I guarantee you, every one of us will start laughing at some of those rankings because they're awful. They're atrocious. And so it's not till you get close to the end of the season that they become a little bit more solidified. But at the end of the day, the rankings mean shit at this point.
Yeah, I think it'll all work itself out. If Georgia is as struggle as we think they are, or they have shown, somebody will prove them.
Hey,
but
they're
if
still the king, Coach I. They're still the king.
It was one year Ohio State won a championship, and I swear they won every game by like a field goal. I mean, it's like with Maury's career or whatever. But I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with us. But I think you're right, Coach. We can pick apart every team, and some of the rankings it is crazy.
It's just a lot of laziness. We were just talking about that to start the show, Coach and I. Is that I believe that sports media right now has a freaking problem with laziness. The entire narrative about Oklahoma is that they're the same freaking football team that you saw last year that lost 5 one-score games. They forget about that part of it. Yeah. But like they even have the same football team. It's not kind of close to the same football team. You've got a couple of guys that are still playing that were starters a year ago. I mean,
I don't even know if it's lazy. It's more so that we're in an age where that's what I was about to say. We're in an age where you got to get views, you got to get likes, you got to get clicks, even for like the big networks. So they want to give a lot of hot takes to cause a lot of conversation, controversy, whatever you want to call it, so people will tune in.
Brandon Walker in a freaking nutshell.
Because it's not a lot. I mean, you gotta be the real sports fans. We want to tune in for real analysts. Like we don't just want to tune in for hey, well, this guy, they're gonna beat this guy by this much, and knowing that's not gonna happen. So
yeah, and I know, and that's the whole thing. Is it? Yeah, and that's the thing. If we would do that, we would probably have bigger audiences. But the truth of it is I would rather talk real stuff here and talk about real stuff than get on here and just bullshit around about it all the time. I mean, I'll admit that I put out the Lincoln Riley video earlier for clicks, no doubt.
So I saw Chicken asked. My bad, Coop. Go ahead.
I was going to go ahead and say what I'll go after you.
I was saying Chicken asked, or not Chicken, but somebody asked what me and Coach thought of the Red River, seeing that we are outsiders, to the rivalry. I think it's personally one of the best rivalries in college football. I think it's Texas, OU, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Florida type deal. I think this year, me and Jason talked about this on the preview and, some off air. I think I know inside the rivalry, it always means the same level for each team, but I think national perception, it means more if Texas loses than if OU loses.
Think about this, and we were talking about that earlier too. All the pressure is on Texas, and I want to go to Chris on this too about that. The pressure is squarely on them. They're number 3 in the country. Every one of those guys on the Barstool show, which it's a clown show anyway, but all of them picked them as the best team in the country right now. you have this love affair that's going on with Texas, and they haven't done shit since 2009. They've played for one.
I think nationally, people just want to see if OU has improved from last year, which you've shown so far. And if you're going to continue to prove, if you were to lose, they just like, okay, they're still working, they're still not there. You know, they're getting there. If Texas loses, this is a bad look for Texas. It doesn't matter that it's OU and the OU is a good team. They're like you said, they're top 3 regardless of the poll. They're conference college football playoff contenders, so to say, quote unquote. Sark's in his 4th year at his 3rd stint as a head coach. They got all this, bro. They got a lot of talent on offense, bro. Like if you can't get it done this year, when are you gonna get it done? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just like nationally, like I say from the outside, I think this game is more pressure for Texas. So I don't know if coach feels.
I'm gonna jump in here and just say this right here, okay? If we all go back to the 2019 year, 2020 year, a couple of those years where you're just sitting there saying, "Man, this is the Texas team," been here. Same thing that we've been saying with 2 or 3 different coaches now, thus far. So each one of these coaches at some point, Charlie Strong at some point was gonna get. This was a team that was supposed to, be pretty good or whatnot. But then it was definitely Tom Herman. I may not can say that about Strong, but I can say that about Herman. Herman was the guy that was. You saw a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Ellinger and Colin Johnson, all those guys." You're saying, "Hey, that's the team. Yeah, they're gonna go. They're back. They beat Georgia, all the rest of the stuff, and they go out there and let OU on their, at their worst, basically beat them." So I'm just waiting for it. I told Texas fans, Texas guys, Nick, Steven, everybody, like, man, I feel like a lot of the Texas teams, honestly, coming into the season were in a show me state. It was a show me state.
Yeah.
Show me what y'all been talking about, because Texas, we do this every year. Y'all win the offseason championship, and then boom, y'all go into the season, y'all look mid against a couple of teams, and then boom, y'all play up against somebody. Everybody thinks, okay, well, yeah, Texas is on the verge of something, and then the back end of the season happens. And so it's just not us. It's us, K-State, BYU. It's a couple of games on their schedule that are definitely up for grabs, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's just like, it's now or never. It's really now or never. This is the best coach that you've had since Mac was there. And then this is also, the best team that I guess you've had since Mac was there. So it's now or never. They are going to show it now. So I agree with you in that instance. I just feel like, man, it just sounds like a broken record at this point in time, because we've heard it so many freaking times over the years.
Well, you guys deal with Texas, a lot more than we do. I'm just telling you, here in the Southeast, I'm in South Carolina, nobody believed in Tom Herman. Nobody believed in Sam Ellinger. We knew they had a good running game. We definitely knew that Charlie Strong wasn't going to be successful because my nephew was recruited by him, and he had a pipeline to Florida. Texas didn't want him using Florida players. We knew that wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the first time I heard anybody say that Texas really had like national championship caliber talent. Like, I know they think they, and not for nothing, I'll tell you that I don't know how we made it to the Sugar Bowl that year we played Texas. We were absolutely atrocious on offense. We had DeAndre Swift, and that was it. And he didn't even play that game. So I'm like, but I get it. You guys have, you guys right there with it. So they you probably hear a Texas fan every day of your life, somewhere at work or at the store or something, talking about how they're back. But we definitely did not believe that. Like I said, I'm not saying that I don't believe they're the best team in the nation. I don't know who's ranking them number one by far.
It's all a bunch of those clicking, media
for clicks. That's what it is.
Absolutely. But
So here's the big difference: is when Texas when Ellinger was on that team, Ellinger was just one of those guys, a Tim Tebow, a Baker Mayfield type of guy, to where he just willed his team to win. He just willed, and he took an okay talented team at pretty far. I think they got the opposite right now. I think that they got a good team, but they got a head case taking snaps. And that he is always due for something. He's always going to be due for something. He's going to skyrocket it. He's going to hang out one of his receivers. And I promise you, you hang out a receiver, whether it's Worthy or Whittington or AD, and you hang out a receiver and let Pearson take a crack at him, all of a sudden, they're going to be some staring into the huddle like, listen,
if
this shit's getting old.
If they get up.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a great segue, and I think it's already been discussed earlier. But guys, I think who wins this ball game is whatever quarterback plays the best on Saturday. Whatever quarterback has the best game, that team's going to win it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people. When I was on with Christian last night on Lone Star, I was telling you before the show, Coach, that he was talking about that. He thinks that Texas has the advantage because they're going to run the ball better. They're big on their, on their new running back, whatever. I feel like you want Texas to try to beat you running the football. You need to make Texas try to beat you running the football. I think you got to get pressure on Quinn, get him off timing, get him off his platform, make him move out of the pocket and make a dirty pocket for him. If you don't do that, that receiving core is pretty damn good. Right now, they're missing their tight end. They're missing their. I don't know if they're going to end up missing him or not. At the end of the day, but to me, I feel like you have to make them beat you running the football, because I don't even believe that Sark will try, but I would love to see it.
He's going to flip around. I mean, here's the thing: is you've got Sark, perceived offensive genius, versus Brent Venables with capable players, and there's going to be a chess match happening. And so you know what Sark is. He didn't all of a sudden learn some new shit. You know what Sark is. You know what BV is kind of looking like here this year. And so that's going to be it. It's going to be right there. Now, I like I said, I'm not as sold on their secondary, and I'm not as sold on their offensive line. Their offensive line was deemed, Joe Moore winning offensive line coming into this year, and it hasn't looked like that.
Gotcha. Hey, I just want to jump in here and say this right here for the two coaches on the show. I think both of them could dissect a big problem that you've seen Texas basically exploit outside of Alabama, who all has actually just said, we're going to run man most of the game. A lot of these teams have played a lot of zone against them. And don't get me wrong, I like Mitchell a lot. I like Worthy. Hey, look, they're capable, but man, when you're looking at some of these zones that these teams are playing, go to the Kansas game last week. Hell, Mitchell's running wide open across the field in the middle of the field, picking up 20, 30 yards every catch. Not even, and when you see Worthy running the same routes that he runs out every game, catching it over there by the sideline, 20, 30 yards, nobody's around him. Nobody's within 8 yards around him. A lot of these teams have been playing a lot of zone. Thing that killed Bama was the fact that, hey, look, as talented as Caleb Downs is, he got caught looking in the backfield.
He's young.
His eyes,
yeah, he's young. Yeah, man. I think the way to attack it is to, like you say, play man. You can't play zone like dude's too good, man. You got to
mix it in, but
you can mix it in. But one thing I can tell you about Brent Venables, just being around around Clemson. He used to say in his press conferences at Clemson, he's going to pressure the quarterback regardless. He doesn't care if he has to bring 5, 6, 7, all 11. He's going to pressure the quarterback, and I think that's where you have to go, because you definitely don't want to give. Listen, I don't think Ewers is the 5-star. I think me and Jason talked about this, that he was built out to be this 1.0 recruit and all that stuff, but you can't give him time, because like you say, AD Mitchell. I'm gonna tell you, AD Mitchell will burn a guy man to man if you give the quarterback time. But if you can throw him off his route and you pressure the quarterback, that spells trouble for the offense. And I think that's gonna be Brent Venables' plan, definitely in the early going. He's definitely gonna bring the pressure.
Coach, do you think as we're running, if they do run more man to man and less zone, because I've seen Ewers have some great runs when he's been pressured. So do you run some spy with that?
I was about to say, the linebackers that Jason was telling me about for OU, they seem pretty athletic. They're gonna have to. Like, he's not fast, but he can make a run count. You know what I'm saying? And it's about limiting, like even if he takes off running, like where Georgia went wrong Saturday is when those guys took off running at quarterback, they got 30, 40 yards. You can't give Quinn Ewers 30 or 40 yards. You know, if he gets off and gets a first down, cool. But you can't give up like don't like, you know, take the safe tackle. Don't try to go for the big hit. Take the safe tackle.
And two things. El Hombre, I see you in the comments. I'm not talking about zone. I'm talking about if you go to that Texas, I mean, if you go to the Alabama game, Caleb Downs was getting beat. I mean, they were running man concepts. It's just the fact that he kept biting on the RPO. He kept biting on it. But that's
eyes
just,
in the backfield. That's just
you.
Yeah,
but,
he hasn't developed those disciplined eyes yet. You know what I'm saying?
Second thing that I would say, one thing I look, last year, as much as I hated that game, one thing that I saw from Sark that I said, man, this dude is a genius. Coop, I've already told you about this on you and I on Jay's show, but man, when he's last year's game, Worthy wasn't even used. Worthy was just a decoy. Either he was going to run a go route or he was going to do an orbit route. It was either one or the other. And guess who was right underneath him running basically the same route? Whittington. And so you were running, I mean, you were running man, and don't get me wrong, Woody Washington was running step for step with Worthy. But whenever they would get at the top of that climb and they break off, Whittington's just basically doing a quick hitch, a quick curl, whatever he can just to pick up yards, just to move the rock.
Sure.
And they just use him as a decoy. So I've been waiting to see, and I saw Sark do that in the Kansas game. I saw him do that in a couple of games earlier this year. And I'm just like, who is disciplined enough, and what team can actually stop that? Because it's deadly. It's deadly at times.
And with the RPO also, like when you're playing man on the back, it having a good interior defensive line to break that up, to put pressure, to create havoc right there at the point of attack is going to be super important. You can't let their guards and their center, push you back or create a stalemate. You got to be disruptive. Like that's how we beat Tennessee last year, because Jalen Carter was creating, pressure right there up in the quarterback's face when he's trying to run that RPO. So it's about you guys as defensive tackles and how much disruption they can cause right there in the middle of the line.
And I'm going to comment.
Coach is the 3-3-5 guy too. That he was one of the first guys running it out in Texas. So yeah, expand on that a little bit, Coach.
Well, and first I want to answer to El Hombre talking about zone is good. Well, hell, they're all good.
If you got the right personnel,
you got to have the right people. And the biggest thing is you've got to disguise those coverages pre-snap, and that's the key, because if you can get that quarterback guessing, and I'm going to put my money on OU and Venables being able to run some different schemes within the game to throw Ewers off his game. And I think that's going to be key. And it's not just zone. It needs to be a combination of zone, man, a combo of, it may be zone one side and man on the other side. There's got to be a lot of different combinations here.
Yeah.
And as far as the 3-3-5, it's a great defense to bring pressure in so many ways. Now you don't want to go into the wrong gap or have two people in the same gap, because then you get gashed big time.
In the run game, for sure.
Exactly. And so, again, they can put a lot of pressure on him. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they play that.
Yeah.
Coop and K. Chris, what do you guys think about this from Fatty? He's been saying this a couple of times here in the chat about holding back a lot. I guess you're talking about the playbook and what they're going to do coming into this. I don't know that I really believe that. I think the last few weeks they've been kind of opening it up more. What do you guys think?
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think that they've been giving a lot of stuff on film to create adjustments, and they're going to run stuff off of that. That's now I still think I still think that they have absolutely held back. They've made adjustments and they've tinkered, especially like in the SMU game. They've got the turn it on factor in that case. Last week they didn't do anything we haven't really seen outside of that pitchback, right at the beginning of the game. But it's the thing I learned the most about the Iowa State game is OU has, we talked at the beginning of the year, wide receiver was the biggest question mark on the team, right? The defensive line, we all had hopes. It was just, we had no clue at wide receiver. Now, OU's wide receiver crew might actually be one of their stronger units, if not the strongest on the team. And there's too many guys. I mean, Andrew Anthony has 1 catch, the first play of the game on that tossback, and has 0 catches the rest of the game. You've got Brennan Thompson now. Tell me they don't have something for Brennan Thompson now that he's healthy, because he'd love to go home and put it back on the horn.
Smack them.
So I think that OU has not shown everything, and then they have given a lot of stuff that they are going to show, and they're going to run something completely different.
Well, what Sark will do and Brent Venables is going to do, because it's limited, like you say, limited film on each team. Sark will go back and look at Jeff Lebby's tendencies everywhere he's been or wherever he's been to call plays, even if you guys haven't ran it this year. And like Brent Venables definitely does that. Like he'll go as far as like Sark was the OC at Bama. He ran this on 3rd and 1 from the 10, like he's going to prepare. So I get that you guys may not have been showing everything, but I'm pretty sure now whether they can stop it or not is a different story, but I'm pretty sure they'll be ready for whatever kind of plays on both sides of the ball, to be honest with you.
Des, we're talking about Brendan Thompson. You can say what you want about what string he was. What guy you got that's as fast as him?
Yeah, Jameson Williams.
All he's got to do is catch it, and be open field, and it's not going to matter what string he was at UT.
And to say that anybody's 8th string just shows a little bit of it shows a little bit of ignorance on just how football works. You don't have 8 players on one position. If it was the 8th option, all right. But at the same time, Jameson Williams was the 6th receiver at Ohio State. I think he went to Alabama and he did okay. Right.
Yeah,
and
sure.
he's going to be playing
it's
this week.
It's not about him coming in and being the number 1 receiver in day 1. That's not what nobody's saying that. But in a game like this, particularly a game of, where you're trying to find a hole, an opening, and look, he could have just been a decoy last week just to make you think about it, because they know how fast he is.
That's I was about to say. Those are the things you try to do as a coach. You, even if you're not planning on throwing it to him, like you say. Well, we put Arian Smith on the field all the time because he's a 10-1 guy, and when you put him on the field, the defense say, "Oh, Arian Smith on the field." Like you have to respect it. It's like for all the people thinking Marvin Harrison killed us, he really didn't. He killed us because he was on the field. And we had to account for his presence on the field. And that's what you do as good coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if that guy couldn't catch a lick, man, he's fast. Yeah. So if you put him out there, the defense has to respect it, and just use him as a decoy. So,
I'm going to say the same thing back to you, Freelance, here. The Oklahoma receiving core is the strength of the offense. We thought coming into the season it was probably going to be the running back room. It's not. It's the receiving room.
Jason, two things about that. I mean, here's the thing. Last week was the first week that, in my opinion, I'll be the first to say I haven't watched a full Texas game. I mean, I watched the Wyoming game, most of that. But I'll say this right here. There hasn't been too many times where Sark is running out there with 4 or 5, 4 wide, 5 wide, stuff like that. I mean, this
is all talking by Texas fans, bro.
But here's the thing. Okay, so here's what nobody's talking about. You hear people talking about whoever runs the ball is going to be better. You hear people talking about whichever quarterback plays is going to be better.
Because they think that favors them, so they're
I got you. But my point is simply this right here. Those are all valid points from everybody. But to me, what the X factors for this game is the matchup between 2 people we are not talking about, PK and Levy. Is Levy going to go out there and be way too creative with his play calling and get us into binds and have us off schedule? And two, I mean, as Texas fans, to be honest with you, y'all could talk about your defense, this and that. A lot of us have questions about PK still simply because we know that for the chunk of it last year, GP, Gary Patterson was there. So the thing is do you got, because we've seen him in big games with Gary Patterson and without Gary Patterson.
Big
My
difference.
whole thing is that I mean the Bama game, y'all, to me, is just the fact that hey, they didn't let Milroe loose. Reese went in there with some type of game plan, and I was just like, that's not him. That's Buckner, but that's not him. But nevertheless, my whole thing is simply this right here. I think that's the matchup right there that I'm really wanting to see. What is Levy going to do, and basically, what's PK going to do?
So some of your word is that Levy gets too creative.
Yeah, at times he gets a little bit too creative. I mean, you go to the SMU game and you're like, Coop, I said, you remember I said this, Jason, I think I said this to you as well. That tight formation, I hated that. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to run out of that. They have the perfect counter. They know what's coming.
Shit. And I'm tired of the force feeding the football to the running back. So I don't want to, I'm not buying into this, whoever runs the football better, because I don't know that Oklahoma has the ability to run the football better than Texas does. What I do know is that I don't think that Texas can beat Oklahoma running the ball. I think that Quinn can beat them if you don't dirty up that pocket. I don't think that you're going to lose to Jonathan Brooks only. I don't see it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't think that, but I think you do want to run the ball though, because like if you guys say the receiver core is the strength of the team, you want to draw those safeties into the box, and the only way to do that is to
run the ball.
Is to be to run the ball, because if you give up on the run too early, then if the safeties can back out of the box, now the defensive line really not thinking about it too, so they're pinning their ears back. It's the same thing that happened to Colorado against Oregon. Oregon was like, they ain't gonna run the ball. All right, let's get the quarterback. Safeties are dropping back. It's like, where you gonna go with the ball now? So I know you don't want to like focus on the run, but you definitely want to, make.
What I'm saying is, I just don't want to see them force feeding it at times, just for the sake of doing it. I want them to run the football well, but I think that a lot of times that I've been feeling like that the approach to it has been backwards a little bit coming into this. I feel like they could have set up the run with the pass a little more.
I think too, this is a little bit of a young head coach defensive guy. Kirby was the same way. And I know exactly what you're talking about, but sometimes it depends on, where you get the ball, field position, and how long your defense was on the field prior. Like he may be running the ball, especially with the new clock rules, to give it, even if it looks like you shouldn't run the ball. You're like, God, man, my defense just played 10 plays, dog. I gotta give them a rest, dog. Like if I throw 3 straight incompletions or 3 straight passes out of bounds and we don't get first downs, now my defense is right back on the field, and that's going to be worse than if I punt on this drive. So sometimes,
and that's a problem that OU, majored in last year. But this year we saw it this past week, when even the announcer said, I was happy that we got the safety instead of the defensive touchdown, because the defensive touchdown puts the defense right back on the field and they wear down a little bit more. And that safety, they had to punt over to the offense, and the defense got I think that the coaching staff has shown at this point this year that, they understand what to do as far as, using the clock and letting the defense, because they're doing it not just to get the game over, they're doing it to let the defense have, but you also don't have to do it as much as last year, because we're playing 25 to 28 players and there's not massive drops with the guys behind them.
The trust there this year is crazy for OU with their depth, the trust is there. Hey, I don't mean to switch gears, and I know OU Texas is the big topic right now. I don't know if you guys have already talked about this, but Coach, I gotta hear it, man. I gotta know. Kentucky this week. It's a lot of chatter going on right now. A lot of people talking. A lot of people talking like y'all can sleepwalk in that game. I look at the game. I was like, y'all playing at Kentucky? No, y'all playing at night in Georgia. Y'all should.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna blow them out, but I think we'll win. I know a lot of people. We gave up a lot of rush yards. First time we gave up 200 rush yards since 2018. LSU at LSU. But it's a different style. We weren't setting the edges last week on the RPO, so they was killing us on the edge. Kentucky styles make fights, man, and Kentucky's gonna basically what they've been doing since Stoops got there. They try to out Georgia every year. They just every year they come in and they. I'm not saying that it won't work because Ray Davis is a great running back. Like he was good at Vandy last year, went for over 1,000 yards. But I think it's a different challenge for Georgia as opposed to trying to get to the edge. If we, if we're good in the box, which is where our linebackers prefer their fight. I don't know. One of them actually came out and said they say I haven't been a lot of box runs. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you're gonna get your fair share this weekend with Kentucky coming into town, but don't look for it to be high scoring. I think we'll win something like 21-24-10 or something. It's gonna be a lot less possessions than definitely than the Texas OU game. Probably like I'm talking about like you talking about maybe 7 to 8 possessions per team, maybe. I feel confident. I feel more confident in this game than I do if we were playing Ole Miss this week because Ole Miss can run the RPO and score like nobody's business. So
yeah, I've been saying this before too. I talked about this yesterday. When it comes to that, I'm not worried about Kentucky. I was probably more worried about Auburn last week.
That RPO, bro.
Right. You're not gonna out Georgia, just like Michigan didn't out Georgia.
That's the thing. Like I tell people, if you're trying to come in and do exactly, and it was on the other foot a couple of years back when we were trying to out Bama when they were running the ball. I'm like, you're not going to out Bama. Like you got to come with something different.
Yeah. And real quick, Quentin, that's not what we say. You need to clean your ears out, bro. Go get a Q-tip, clean your ears out. Don't touch your brain because I think it's already a little tweaked. So because we're talking about, yes, you need to run the football. No shit. I know football.
Yeah.
You got to run it. But what you don't have to do is try to force it and go a bunch of 3 and outs because you're saying we're gonna force feed this thing up the middle. If you're not paying attention to what Oklahoma can do, they're top 10 in every passing category out there. You can say whatever you want about your secondary. Your best secondary player isn't even, we don't even know for sure if he's going to play. You can set up the run by passing it a little bit out of the backfield, just doing some of that other stuff as well.
Yeah, you don't know OU's passing.
You do either, bro. You don't.
OU's passing offense right now is currently behind USC and Oregon.
That's it.
I mean, those guys are both doing everything. So yeah, and then also I saw the comment earlier about
they're best at, and you need to do that. When we've tried to force rush without setting it up with the pass, that's when you've had the not great games, right?
But also, like running out 5 wide again. I mean, if Sark does throw that out there, trust me, if you have not been paying attention because you've just been looking at the scoreboard, you're missing a lot. Because to run out Woody and Gentry may be the best defensive back on the team. To run out Woody and Gentry, Peyton Bowen, he welcomes you to think anything, especially him getting to play at home for the first time in his college career. That guy has been 2 to 3 inches away from so many interceptions so far this year, and it's going to happen. This defense it's not because we've just played nobody. We didn't have this type of defense in the past, decade and a half playing nobody. This defense is good, and that's with a defensive line that just doesn't get beat. They're not even great. They just don't get beat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, on the outside looking in, I think it's going to be the best game, you know what I'm saying, outside of that Texas Bama game. So I'm interested in it, man.
Yeah, this is the game day's there because of the game,
yeah.
But this could end up being, an abs because here you have I want to ask this question here. This is pretty funny. So Sankey said he's going to be at the game. Does Yormark show?
Yeah.
No, he's not going to come. Apparently, he's not going to be there.
Because what would Yormark say? I mean, Sankey's going to be there, and I promise you, I want a great game. And then at the end of the game, I want just an F Brett Yormark, chant to start out in the crowd because everybody, all of us, because we're either going to see 0 penalty flags or 111. It's going to be ridiculous.
Oh God. This is funny. Yeah,
You're going to be able to. You're going to be able to take off someone's head, and then you're going to look at the ref, and he says, you know, play the sport tough or criminal. You know, he's just going to stare at you like you're nobody. I mean, this is going to be funny. But you know, I wanted to see what your Mark would get out there because he would. It would be the biggest backpedal I've ever heard of if he walked out there.
I can't believe he's not going to the game.
It's funny how these Texas fans have played. You guys have played one team with a pulse, and you want everybody to hand you the freaking championship trophy right now. You played one team,
but that's bro. Stop. If they were 3-2, they'd feel that way too. I mean, this is another Texas fan, another year. The only thing's different is there's a different number at the end of the year.
It's Red River week, man. As a college football fan, this is what I like.
I am here for this too. Hey, I'm going to talk shit right back to them. This is how I roll anyway.
I like the Texas fans in the comments, bro. This is bad. Outside of dog, this is how it is when we play Florida. So,
I guess Steven said it right. He said in the second half they're going to just throw about 14 targeting penalties and just get both teams without players for the for the next game.
Yeah,
that would be the way that they do that.
I know, right?
The 2026 back.
Yeah, he's going to be a load.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for DeMarco to go after that, I think that DeMarco and Emmett Jones are just seeing how far out they can have their classes set.
Yeah,
there's an 8-year-old wide receiver. There's an 8-year-old wide receiver in Beaumont, Texas, that's going to get it. Going to be enrolling next week.
Yeah, Red River ain't going nowhere, Fatty.
It's protected. They're gonna still. I think they're gonna end up at the 366 anyway.
Yeah. Fatty said
he would have made it through. It would have made it through if Oklahoma and Texas would have gotten a vote this past season.
Yeah, Fatty said Georgia's gonna beat Kentucky 42-17. I hope so.
Hey,
listen, we put up 42 on Kentucky. Listen, Kentucky's a physical team and they want to muck up the game, man. So if we put up 42 on Kentucky, I'll be happy.
I'm not even gonna lie. When last week I was watching the last bit of the Auburn game, I turned over there and I was thinking Auburn was probably down by like 40 or so.
No,
and I saw the game was tied. And then I watched the entire drive where every catch was by one person. It was Bowers. I was like, how the hell is he open? And then I watched the replays. I was like, damn, he wasn't open. I was like,
no, he was.
Sometimes you gotta have a Bowers. Sometimes you gotta have a Bowers.
He was getting double teamed out the wazoo.
I'm saying. Bowers has to be a Jedi or something because some of those catches he made this week. I would turn around and look at that kid and be like, you son of a bitch. I will go sit the rest of the season if this is going to be a recurring thing.
Man, there was a couple of throws. I don't think they were bad throws. I thought they were bad decisions. I'm like, they had a guy, on top of him and on bottom of him, pause, and I'm like, you still throwing it to Bowers? He's catching it with one hand. I'm like, hey, thank God for Bowers, brother.
No, the touchdown was ridiculous. I was like, man, he ran through a lot of trash.
But did you see a couple of those DBs though make some business decisions by just trying to tackle it? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, did they really? That's business decisions. Though.
There's more collision going on in after the touchdown celebrations than some defenses. I mean, those guys were like chest bumping. I'm like, hey, you going down, man? Because I mean.
They saw, last week when we played, so whoever we played, UAB or whatever, he kind of WWF just chucked the guy out of bounds. I think they was like, nah, I'm not getting on this highlight tape. So
it was beautiful. I hope that he doesn't get drafted by Atlanta because they just like to stack two skill positions and
right. Don't get me started on Atlanta, dog. Oh god.
Hey, at least they're going to have a lot of rushing yards.
Hey, Bijan's look good. Hey,
be good at one thing. He's good. Yeah. I mean, he is, and I want to see him do well because again, it's going to be fun when we leave this conference and you look back and you're going to forget half the teams in the conference, in 6 months.
Ooh, don't say that.
Jason, I don't want to take.
They're going to jump on you, Coop.
I want to take over your show, but I got to show my other coach some love too. I got to ask him a question. Hey man, I think this could be a sneaky good game. I think this could easily be a top 3 game of the day. I want to say y'all play Louisville on Saturday, right? I like Coach.
Yeah.
I like Coach Brown a lot. I like the he's from Purdue to
He's a good
now.
coach.
I like what he's done down
coach.
there.
Yeah.
He is what the transfer portal is supposed to be about going and actually doing your
Agreed.
evaluations, getting guys in there that truly fit your system, not just going after the guys who had a lot of stars by their name in high school or the guys who did a lot of production. He went and found guys to really fit what he wants to do. That could be a really good game, man.
It should be. I mean,
yeah.
we're going to have our hands full again. I mean, third week in a row, we're going to, but we talked about this early on. We were going to hit a stretch that it was going to be a murderous schedule. I mean, and then we're probably going into another undefeated team the following week. And so, but again, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a great ball game. I think it'll be another. Honestly, I think it'll be another low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game by any means, but we've got our hands full, no doubt. And he has done a great job. And you hit the nail on the head. He's brought the people in that fit his organization and his culture of his football team.
If I'm in there, if Marcus Freeman would let me into the locker room, I would walk up to Sam Hartman and say, "Hey, look, this may be a week where you don't have the best outing, throwing different things like that. Gonna be another low scoring game, but next week, baby, we eating." We gonna eat next week. We gonna eat. That USC defense ain't gonna stop us next week. We gonna ball out.
You got it. You got it.
I was about to say, look for a whole lot of estimate this weekend. I'm just gonna let you know that because they struggle with NC State's Louisville struggle with NC State's physicality up front. So whole lot of estimate this weekend.
Well guys,
man, they're soft as Charmin, man. Soft as Charmin all the way around.
Guys, what surprised me a little bit this last weekend is we didn't see that 4 to 5 headed monster. Well, we saw a ton of estimate, and he wasn't exactly having his best game either.
No.
But I'm gonna tell you what, they had a hell of a front.
I was about to say Duke's front seven is good though.
They are incredible up front. By far the best defense we've seen.
Those words don't even sound right. Duke's front seven is good.
Isn't that crazy coming out of Duke? I mean,
are you talking about like the first two guys on the bench and then the starting?
You know what I'm saying? It's like that's
we didn't hear the ball thumping. It was helmet thumping. They're really good. They really are. I really felt bad about their quarterback.
I know Riley Leonard's a player too, man.
We don't run from nobody, man.
Riley Leonard's a player. This week, I think it'll be thrash. Louisville will try to get it to thrash a lot. So you guys can slow him down. I think you'll handle business.
Let me ask you this, Quentin. I want to ask you this: who's got all the pressure to win, though? Who's got all the pressure to win?
You already know. I think it's Texas.
And does Texas typically do well with pressure?
Yeah, right.
I mean, not that you've played for anything in a decade, but
he agreed. He said Texas. Quentin said Texas.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah.
So what happens? And what do you do? Yeah.
It's 2023, Quentin, but I mean,
and Texas still sucks.
It's still Texas. Again, the last time y'all played for something, who went out at quarterback?
Why is it different? Why should we believe this? 7-win Sark. He's never won 10. Why should we believe you?
Problem is y'all not game 8 though.
Yeah,
that's true. No, that's true. That's true. That part's right. But hey, they still haven't won 2 in a row. They haven't won 2 in a row for freaking 14 years.
Well, since 08, 09. Since 08, 09, they haven't won back to back.
It's this is going to be a great game. Like I sent something to Jay on Saturday night, and I said this game is going to be a massive game nationwide because the winner of this, every single team in the country has to go, oh shit, because it's real. And if Texas comes out and wins, everybody's going to say they should have. This was the propaganda, and if they lose, it is going to be hard. It was going to be hard for them to come back from that because people are going to go, another year.
Same thing. Same year. Another year. Same story. You're right. I think if Texas does pull out a win, regardless of whatever goes on in the nation, I think they'll be number one AP next week, unless we somehow beat Kentucky by 30, which again, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. So
Sark has been a head coach. Let's see here. He was
11 years.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't Sark's third year as a coach. I mean, he drank his
Yeah.
way out of USC.
Stephen G said he thinks this would be part one, and JC, you remember I told you about that though.
I agree with it too. Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. I don't see a way. I think that K-State is going to be I think K-State is the other school that could get in if Sark does what Sark does.
Oh,
and I'll give you guys. Listen, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt, saying that you should be there.
Yeah,
they
Texas
have talent. They've got the talent to get there, and I don't think that there's anybody in this conference, including K-State, that should be able to play either one of these teams and win.
No, and guess what?
Texas plays down to its opposition.
And Texas Texas and OU both have a bye next week.
I was just about to say that. That's going to be hard.
Texas has Houston, so technically they have two byes. We have Kansas. We have Kansas right after, right?
We got UCF right after.
UCF, that's right.
It's another bye because it's at home. John Rice Plumlee, dude,
that's
I can throw the ball freaking better than that, dude. Come on, man.
Y'all, I think me and Stephen G talked about this in the comments on Jason on our video. You know how hard it is to beat a team twice, though. So if you guys win and you see Texas again in the championship, which one would you rather have, the Red River or the conference title?
Definitely the championship game, but who's to say you can't get them both?
I'm not saying you can't. Utah, listen.
To the playoff. I think that's probably wouldn't be what happens.
I'm about to say Utah beat Oregon.
Lost teams, you're probably not getting it.
Man, we've already been through this, man. We already been through this with Colin. Just get them both, man. Just get them both. I don't want to think about that. Losing a Texas thing gonna make me sick. I can't think about it.
Quentin, you right, but I don't think
you must not have watched much Oklahoma because Dylan Gabriel's not a pocket passer.
So they did beat TCU twice, but I don't think that was as close, a game as this type. Like
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think OU was just better in both instances. I don't feel like either team is better like that in both instances this time. That's why.
Yeah,
it's easy to beat a team twice that you're better than.
Yeah, it is. And I expect Texas, anything less than 10 wins is a disappointment. I mean, especially now, but even before the season, anything less than 10 wins is a disappointment. And I'm full on and Coach, I mean, next year, if OU and Texas, play with one loss between the two in the Big 12 championship and one of them makes a decent run, at the playoffs, I mean, do you guys look in the SEC differently this year than you did prior to last year as far as OU Texas coming in, or do you still feel it's about the same?
I feel like I'm looking at OU Texas, man, and Jackson Arnold at quarterback. I look at the quarterback play. You guys got Jackson Arnold. I know I'm really high on Jackson Arnold, so I think you guys are suited to come in and make some noise. You know what I'm saying? I think Brent Venables is how he's recruiting is how I actually looked at it. You know what I'm saying? Because before, I don't know if you guys would have been ready every week for trench work. That's where the SEC separates itself. Yeah. But now you guys are going out and getting those guys in the trenches. That's what I don't know. I got to look at Texas's recruiting class and what they did this past year.
Is great, yeah.
Because it's not just that you could have the better front, starting 11. It's just like, in the SEC, it's like that's what they do. They recruit trenches, and you got to do this every single week. You got to do that. So I think, you guys are making the right moves. But like you said, if one of you go 11-1 coming in, and you return a lot of people, I think that says a lot, especially if you can get up in some of these after this game. If you can get up, and I think one of y'all brought it up, man. I think it was you, Coop, about how like some of the backup quarterbacks aren't getting a lot of playing time. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to get some of these guys. You don't want the SEC to be their first real experience. That's definitely not what you want.
Your
you guys, when you guys play the lesser teams, if you can get Jackson Arnold, more snaps, I think that helps coming in as well. But I think OU Texas boosts the conference with the play on the field and with the brand of course. I think they leaving the Big 12 high and dry. I said that.
So if I still say that, going into the SEC next year, I'll bring up two things here. So let's not just think about next year, but what two brands slide the most in the SEC down with OU Texas coming in?
I think Texas A&M is going to take a hit.
Can they take any more?
Hey, really? Because with the way Jimbo's been recruiting, I know he hasn't been performing, but the way he's been recruiting, it's always that is it Alabama, LSU, A&M on that side. I think they take a huge hit, and if Florida don't get it together in the East, I know it's like because we won't have East West, so it's just going to be top to bottom. I think they take a hit, so they got to get a lot better, and Tennessee's gonna have to figure something out. Was it the OC that just left? I know we all say it's Heupel's offense, but was it because the OC was with him at UCF? Now he's gone, and I know they need some players, but Tennessee, Florida, A&M, I think they take the most hit if Texas OU comes in ready to play ball.
So now next year, OU rolls in, and I'm expecting Quinn to go in this statement and Jalen Milroe not to be the answer. OU will play Texas, LSU, Bama.
Yeah, I already said
all first-year quarterbacks. All first-year quarterbacks.
All first-year quarterbacks, but I said that I felt like OU got the short straw when it comes to OU Texas and the schedule. I feel like Texas got the easier schedule.
And we got the cupcake this year. Texas has a stronger schedule. That's
true,
with Georgia falling off.
True.
Again, we played, Little Sisters of the Poor. And so,
but yeah, you'll be facing some new quarterbacks, which is good for you. You know what I'm saying? But you also be breaking in a new QB. So,
And I'm excited to see, because I think Alabama's probably going to run out Julian Sayin. I think that guy's a dude.
I do too.
They obviously don't have it on the schedule this year, but Nico, Jackson Arnold, there are some absolute.
It's going to be, I think the quarterback play is going to be better, especially like you say, with you guys coming in with the guys that are already there. I think we could see as the season progresses a lot of really good quarterback play, kind of not like, Pac-12 level this year right now, but on down the line, like you say, you got Jackson Arnold, you got whoever Texas uses. To be honest with you, Malik, or I don't think Arch is as bad as people make him see. I think he's got some talent. You got Nico. I'm not as high on Nico, but I think he has some talent. But I think I don't know if Carson Beck comes back, then great. If Carson Beck has a year that I think he can have, he's gone, and then you see Dylan Raiola, or Brock Vandegrift or another 4 or 5 star and Gunnar Stockton. So I think the QB play, especially with Texas and OU coming in, is gonna be elevated in the SEC. So I think the biggest thing you want to look for next year, starting next year, there's no divisions in any of the Power 5 conferences, which is, I think, going to be good for a lot of teams. But you want to look at that schedule and who you play back to back or, week to week or whatever, because regardless of whether you can beat them or not, like, it's a good thing we have Vandy next week after next, because after we play Kentucky, we're physically drained because of how they play. And then you want to play a Vandy. You don't want to play like Bama and then turn around and have to play LSU and then turn around and have to play the Red River. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you want, because inevitably, just for physicality reasons, you might drop one of those games that you shouldn't drop.
Yeah.
So
a lot of banged up. That's where the depth comes in, and that's where I think OU and Texas are really doing a good job right now. I saw somebody make a joke that is OU and Texas carrying 2 different conferences right now, and it kind of made me laugh because, but I laughed because I'm like,
Honestly,
I played King of the Hill when I was a kid, and I thought to become the King of the Hill, you got to knock the king off the hill, and Georgia hasn't been knocked off in 2 years. So I think folks need to back off a little
I
bit.
agree with that too, though.
True that, but I think this game this weekend is all eyes on Texas OU because they are kind of like, Big 12, SEC. What are they going to look like next year? What they look like this year? So I mean, I think you got a lot. I think it's a lot riding on this game perception wise, So
sure
for OU and Texas, kind of not like you say, not necessarily holding up the SEC, but
no,
we are. Listen, don't get it twisted. As the SEC, we're putting that out to the Big Ten without saying it. Like we don't care how many teams you're adding. We're adding Texas OU. So like if you guys were to fall flat on your face the rest of the season, that wouldn't look good for the SEC coming in next year. It's like we kind of need you to go 10-2, 11-1. Like we don't need you dropping one to BYU or that.
Damn right.
Yeah, we don't need that because
that's going to be
y'all know
games you got to go on the road to BYU at nighttime near the end of the season. If they are anywhere near contention, that's going to be a tough game, man.
And this is the thing. We know that football wise, but perception wise, I'm telling you how it is in the South. We don't need y'all losing to BYU. I don't care how good they are.
I agree.
Perception wise,
BYU's not good. And listen, man, I went to 3 or 4 Big 12 championships in a row at the end of Kansas when they were holding it up in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, OU can play in the cold because those were some effing cold games. I think there was one, it was like 6 degrees. And I mean, it was one of the most miserable. And I think it's one of those games we played against Colorado. I went to one there too, where it was like 10 degrees. And I think that we were up 42-6 or something like that at halftime. And I was just like, I don't want to be here, but I've never left a game early.
Yeah. I went to a Baylor game like that when Jalen. It was freaking cold, and they were down to the point that I was like, if they don't start this comeback as soon as the second half starts, I'm out.
Y'all better than me, man. Listen, the temperature get extreme, man. I'll be out there now. I did when I went to Notre Dame. I sat through rain and cold, but hey, my nephew was playing, so I had a reason to stay. Other than that, boy, I'd be out of there if it get extreme.
I would boycott football if I went to the OU West Virginia game last year. That might have been the worst weather I've ever even heard of.
Oh, man.
It was like 37-degree rain, and you're just like, it's not cold enough to snow, but it's freaking raining.
So you guys are talking about all this cold. Let's talk about a little heat. Let's talk about LSU.
Missouri?
Yeah. They're already on Kelly's ass, boys.
Yeah,
listen, you can't get man.
You get run out of there.
This is one thing. LSU is known for defense. Regardless of how their offense look, they're known for defense. What you can't do is you cannot allow a team to have almost 500 yards and a half. You can't score 49 and lose. That's a bad look, bro. And then they got, not for nothing, Florida State pretty much wiped them up and down the field,
Yep,
so
absolutely.
He ain't looking real good right now.
And here's the thing is, I think that LSU fan, they it kind of blows my mind how, for the longest time, like the Miami Marlins were a baseball team that would go out, win the World Series, just clean shop, be shit for 4 years and come back and do it again. And that's what LSU has typically been, is they win a championship and then they're almost nothing for a while. And then they win another one. They still think that last year they won the national championship. So they want another one. And they don't have it. And when you have the quarterback like Daniels, you can't, you just can't just let that. But yeah, listen, if LSU lets Luther Burden run around like freaking Kansas State did and just do whatever the hell he wants, he always looked like a draftable receiver against Kansas State. It was crazy.
And Missouri's quarterback is pretty good. He's actually playing pretty good. I don't know what his passer. He's playing pretty good, and they got a good front four, front seven. If he loses this game, man, just know LSU administrators administration and boosters are meeting and talking just to see,
Yep.
you know,
Fill out
just to
the
see
money.
what's going on.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up?
Mhm.
B, do we need to fire an OC or a DC? What's up? What's going on, dog?
No, you're exactly right. You're
LSU,
exactly
dog.
right.
LSU always has talent. There's no reason for them to put up 49
Yeah.
and lose. They always have talent.
No, it's nutty. And you know what? If they can Kelly and somehow Jimbo and old motorcycle rider stay in there, why don't you bring Brian Kelly down to A&M and just make it a whole freaking circus?
Oh gosh.
Exactly.
I wouldn't let my child play in College Station if they paid me.
No, it's
It's a little wild down, a little weird down there, bud. A little weird.
it's
Wouldn't
listen,
touch it with
man.
a 10-foot pole.
Aggies a little odd, man. No doubt.
I was at the Torrance Marshall game,
mean,
and
I
that
hate
may
that.
be the only time I've ever been terrified for my life at a sporting event. And I was walking to the gate when the guy dropped the bomb at the North Oval, like. That thing starts shaking, and I thought, "Oh my god!" But then I went back a couple years later, and then I saw all the tradition. I was more scared of the tradition stuff, just because I was like, "Man, I'm getting put in a box. You know, somebody's going to be dropping lotion in a basket for me here soon." Those people are weird.
Oh, they got to change the coaching staff in College Station. If talk about pressure, I mean, if Jimbo don't get it done this Saturday, I get it. It's Alabama, but I mean, it's the same old story. If he doesn't get it done, same old Jimbo. You know, 8 wins.
I want to see Lincoln Riley go to A&M just to have them suck the hopium and
Really
look exactly the
weird
same as
out,
he does
man.
right now.
Oh wow, I could see
Just
that
do the
happening.
same
He too
Just do
Holly.
the
He
same.
too Holly. He too Hollywood for College Station.
for College
Yeah.
Station.
I don't know. They'll offer him enough money to do it. I think he ends up at
Well,
Texas.
they got it.
I can tell you
They
now,
got
he
it.
ends up at Texas Tech.
They got it. I try to tell people, don't be fooled, man. Jimbo contract don't scare nobody. Like Texas A&M got money.
No. Listen,
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, bro.
Jay brings up the fact that it's not just the $200 million buyout or whatever. The next dude's going to want the same amount of money, so they're going to have to pony up double. And that's the part where I go, man. I just don't. They're gonna have to like frame his ass or something. Somebody's going to be planting, underage kids in his locker room or something, because they got to fire him for cause. And I just. Or at least like somebody threatening his life. It's Texas. Somebody will threaten him and say, like, you need to walk away or your family's going to be missing.
Maybe that's why they allowed him to hire Petrino, because they knew Petrino would do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blow back on the whole staff.
They need to hire Orgeron as an analyst. That would just.
Oh, God. Oh, no. None of the staffers would be safe.
Well, they're gonna hire him and Meyer both.
He's gonna be coaching
Urban Meyer, so he can go get him some more college.
Urban Meyer's prime for one of these one of these Big Ten jobs, like a Maryland or something. I don't think Maryland's getting rid of anybody soon, but the next Illinois or Chicago or something, or Indiana. I think that's where he would probably go and be left alone. He needs to stay out of big jobs, because he's going to sneeze the wrong way and people are going to be like, oh, it's time.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
What model are we talking about, Quentin? Tell me your data points, Mr. Wizard. I got to hear this.
What are you guys going? We over here talking good football. What you going back and forth about, Jason? Like,
He's over here telling us about how the data points don't, the stats don't matter because of who OU's played, but they matter. Even though Texas has only played one team with a pulse. Come on.
Okay. I got you.
It's so here, let me flip it. Did you guys see the thing that just came through, that the NCAA is starting to try to put forward regulations for NIL? It just came out of a little bit earlier, and just transparency. Okay. The NCAA is slightly less effective than the Better Business Bureau in this day and time. It is nothing.
They're worthless. They're worthless as tits on a boar hog.
Yeah. Listen, man, the NCAA ain't good for nothing but when you first get into school to see if you're academically eligible. That's it.
Yeah. You just. There's already threats.
Once you're eligible, you're good.
Yeah. Once the NCAA tries to pony up, the Big Ten and the SEC will say, "Hey, you guys available for a call real quick?" And it'll be a completely different league immediately.
Yeah. So
Michigan State.
Neilio, you the man, brother.
He is the man. I love that one. It was
That's
awesome. Two-finger
hilarious.
pop down at home. Love it. Hey, well, Midnight Mail may have gotten railroaded a little bit, I think. But I mean, you gotta.
Hey, that's what happens when you gotta be smarter than that, man. When you worth $10 million a year, dog. So
apparently they knew
Amen, brother.
when they hired him. Apparently, I don't think it was news to him.
Well, that's
she hadn't gone public with it yet.
But this is the thing, though. That's why you got to be even more. Like he probably said something in one of the meetings. They was like, "We're gonna show you." It's like
Exactly.
you out here losing games and running your mouth at the meeting.
Yeah, you gotta know better. You gotta know better. Hey, listen, and they can't. I know Michigan State's got some cash, but $100 million, you're not Michigan. They don't want to do that. And when you don't win 10 games the second year in a row, they immediately have buyer's remorse.
That's why they was need to get out of that contract for sure. They definitely don't have the money to do that.
It's and what's so crazy is, I mean, these coaches, I just don't understand. I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, if somebody offered me $1 million a year for anything, I would just absolutely I would be like, man, you tell me what I can do and what I can't do, and just follow me around because I'm not jacking this up.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, man, when you're making that kind of money, man, and you're under contract, they get to be in your life. So you got to know that when you take that money, you can't be a regular guy. It's just like being an athlete, getting a scholarship or whatever. You can't do what the regular students do. You know?
No.
And guys,
listen,
in all honesty, guys, you look around college football and there's a lot of coaches that are a hell of a lot more important than the college president.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how you slice it or dice it. They make decisions far better. And sometimes the presidents have to just shake their head yes to those coaches. So that's just the way it is. But y'all are exactly right. You're making that kind of money and you're going to be that stupid. But it's not stupidity. It's egos. It's egos, guys. It's egos.
Yes, it's ego.
Reading glasses, you knucklehead.
But we talked about that on another show, Coach. Hey, it don't matter what level you are. Coaches got egos.
Yeah.
Every
one of them. But when people start paying you, millions and millions of dollars, you need to pull your ego out of your ass and just say, you know what, I can do this, and quit doing stupid shit.
No.
But you know what? The part of the problem to that though is, guys, they know they can do. They know they can do stupid shit, and they're going to get bought out.
It's just like the whole thing with Jimbo. What freaking incentive does he have to really give up what he wants? If he wanted to continue calling plays, what's he going to do? What are they going to do? The buyout is $90 million at this point, or it'll be 80 after this year. 80.
But that's my point. When you're paying that kind of money. That what needs to happen is they need to go back into college football and we're going to pay you X million this year, and next year we'll renegotiate again instead of having those ridiculous 10-year
scholarships.
Contracts. Yeah,
scholarships,
just like you do with the kids. It's
just like scholarships.
It's renewed every year. Is what they need
single
to do.
year, and if you ain't performing or you acting up, we might have paid you an ungodly amount for this year, but we won't do it next year.
Exactly, and I tell you what, that'll make their ass a little bit more hungry and a little less egotistical.
Yeah, big facts.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
He said he's coming back at 2:30.
I'm sure he'll be back too. I'm sure he'll be back.
I meant to tell Quentin, if you still watching, man, catch us on the Saturday night snap count, man. Jason will be over there.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
We're gonna get Coach over there too, man.
Well.
That's right.
Yeah, man, and Coop, you got to get in on the snap count, man. It's a lot of fun on that show, bro. It's a lot of fun on that show.
Saturday night snap count, Quentin, Fanatic Sports, man. Oh, I got you, dog. Yeah. 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, yeah, you guys let me know on that one, and I'll hop on too. I mean, Saturday nights. Yeah, I mean, I just don't have. I mean, my OLD is acting up, but I can't watch football after an emotional week, and doing this and then watching the game twice. Trying to get the rewatch in. I can't turn on a USC game and watch Alex Grant run around like the what's his name from Waterboy. It's terrible. I mean, it's just I can't watch that shit anymore.
Yeah.
They're playing at like 10 a.m. this week though, right? In Colorado.
Who they play this week? ASU. No, they play at ASU this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, they play. I want to say that's the 6:30 game. 6:30 Eastern. So that's 4:30 their time, something like that.
Okay, yeah, it's next week for that Colorado game. I think is the butt crack of dawn for them in Colorado.
Well, they just played SC at the butt crack of dawn 10 a.m. last week. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you as a college football fan, I'm glad y'all are coming to the SEC because man, listen, I know outside the Red River is at 12 o'clock a lot of times, but we don't like noon games, man. Like because when you guys the big noon kickoff, when you west of the Mississippi, dog, like that, those kickoffs be at like 10 a.m. California time, 9 a.m. dog. Like
Oklahoma probably would have hung around in Texas too if they would have just stopped giving them so many of those damn big noon kickoff games. They want to play a few night games here and there.
Bruh, that's night games is where it's at, man. Especially, listen, look, it's hot in Texas, but it's hot everywhere in the SEC.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the game.
You want a night game.
Game time for the temperature for this week is like in the 60s, and bro, the last OU Texas I went, I hated my life. It was one of the hottest games I've ever been at. Like it was just terrible.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the Red River game's a tough one to go to because there's nothing to stop the freaking sun when it's out. It's always still hot in Dallas at this time of year. But this week it's only supposed to be around 70. Should be decent.
Good. That's good.
Should be decent. Yeah.
See, when I was coaching in Dallas, guys, we were at a large high school there in Dallas, and I traded every week. I traded with coaches as far as Friday night games versus Saturdays. We always played Saturday at noon when the turf was about 110, and we'd watch the other teams out there puking on the turf, and we prided ourselves in playing people in those temperatures. We sold that culture to our kids, and they really believed we're going to kick your ass because y'all are going to puss out here because it's 100 and 110 on the turf. And it was interesting, but I'm kind of like you, Coop. It sure was hard just standing on a sideline when your shoes are your shoes are sizzling. You can feel the heat through your shoes.
If the ground that ground up tire hits you like a sparkler on 4th of July too.
Here in the South, it's like real humid too, man. So like, it gets hot and humid. You can't breathe, and it's like it's just a different kind of heat, man. Utah experienced it when they played at the Swamp, man. They was throwing up, in the first quarter and everything. It's just different, So you want those 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock games so the sun can go down a little
Trust
bit.
me, I was at the OU game. Was it UTEP? I think it's the hottest game on record. There was a Texas Tech game too. And I mean, in OU's, they're like, oh, hold on a second. It's a sellout. So 80,000 people. How many bottles of water 10,000? You ordered 10,000 bottles of water? Okay, that's good. We're good.
Yeah.
That math don't check out.
Bastards. Yeah. Hey, folks, we have, let's see, where are we at here? We have 90 something folks in here, and we only still have 52 likes. Half of you folks don't like this. I mean, look, man, I know we were busting your chops there earlier, bud, but you at least hit the dislike button. Do something. You guys are coming here talking all that shit, and you're not even going to hit the button for us. Come on.
But you guys fit right in, man. You guys got these big, massive stadiums. I think that'll be better for you because you'll come into a conference where everybody has massive stadiums. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, no matter where you go, like even Missouri's and Vanderbilt's making upgrades.
They're all big, yeah.
It's all them
It's,
fatties at the fair breathing up all your air. Thank you, Alec. I appreciate you, bud.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Now
Funnel
what's funny
cake in
is
it.
like
Funnel cake in it.
I always like before I get to the fair, I'm always like, man, I think I'm gonna just walk around and hang out a little bit more this year. And then I come out of the stadium, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go home. I don't want nothing to do with that place. It's just that smell is just, once you've been screaming, your head hurts, you've been in the heat, and you come out and you're like, I don't like standing in lines on my good day, much less, coming out of a game.
Wow.
Cold
After the
beers take
game,
care of that.
I was about to say, after the game, you guys hang out at the fair or whatever. So like, I've never been to the Red River, so I'd be done after the game. Though I'm like,
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing else
usually
in
am.
me. Oh, like, I ain't got nothing else in me, dog.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's hot, and like I said, I don't like standing in line or walking in public. I hate how people don't understand how to walk. I think they should teach walking in public in school.
It's much better to have Uber for sure.
Yeah.
He said if you say hook, come on, hit the like. You can hook that, buddy. Never happening. You can hit the dislike too. That's fine.
It's some of the notorious shit talkers, Texas fans on Twitter are rather quiet this week. I'm not hearing much from a lot of different guys, and we've had some people, drop in. And again, if you are a Texas fan and you're in here and you're not talking shit, you're a bitch. Like, you need to be doing it. You need to have some confidence in it.
It's rivalry week, man. It's all in good fun, man. Talk some trash. What makes college football better than NFL?
From that dirty keg line at the fair. That's a visual, Alec. That is a visual right there, man. Holy crap,
bro! And it's like usually when you leave the fair, you don't want to go back to your hotel and even lay down. Like you don't even want to touch your bed. You just want to walk right to the shower.
It's funky, bro.
So what's the heat like cool, early September in Norman though? Because South Carolina plays at Norman next year. Me and Stat trying to come.
Yeah, it's
gonna be hot. It's nice and humid.
Hey, nothing new. So we can't even escape it when we come to Norman, huh?
Negative.
No, but there might be an earthquake and a tornado somewhere in the state too at the same exact time.
Hey, bro. Yeah, man, we're gonna try to get out there, man, for that game. I think you guys got to roll.
You definitely got to bring the stack guy. You got got it, Norman. Although we may have to get him a bulletproof vest for all the shit he talks about.
Well, listen, man.
Nah, we love you, man. We love you.
Yeah, man.
If we got all that out, we handled that. That was all good.
Yeah. No, my nephew will be playing for South Carolina next year, so we're gonna try to see if we can get out there.
What's up, Ian? Hey. Glad he keeps showing up from Australia, man. Shout out to Australian Ian. Thank you for showing up, man. It's awesome, man. Appreciate that. Thanks for
bro. Ian, don't
appreciate it.
Don't go outside. Australia has like 7 of the 10 deadliest snakes and spiders. I don't know how you're alive still.
Listen, snakes, spiders, whatever, a whole bunch of other stuff, dog. Like I was watching the show, I'm like, this dude is standing in the middle of all this stuff. Like I'm like, I don't want to. Oh, it looks nice, but I don't want to go. Shout out to Ian, bro.
In the 7th circle of hell, Coach I.
Yeah.
At that time of year.
No, well, we'll see when the game gets scheduled. Hopefully, sometimes you like, man, you can tailgate when the sun is out and all that, but sometimes you just want to, you want to escape to eat, bro.
Hey, what about Gundy? What about Gundy,
you're
guys?
really holding the grudge here, chicken. What's up?
Chicken.
I told you were in trouble, Coach I.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Coach?
About Gundy?
He said, what about Gundy?
What about Gundy?
Yeah, what is going on with Gundy, man? What is it?
Are they gonna be, Brad bold enough to let him go? He's in year 15. It was year 15 when Georgia finally parted ways with Mark Richt. The difference is Gundy is an OSU guy. Mark Richt, technically, he went to Florida State. So I don't know if that played a part. But
and for what it's worth, Swain said he's like, I think they might, because he pissed off some of the bigger boosters that were in that meeting. They have that meeting before the season with a bunch of their bigger boosters that are left, but most of them were his guys, I think.
I got you.
But but then the NIL collective folks were there, and then obviously the administration people, and he shit all over the NIL, shit all over the freaking the collective, shit all over everything except for we need to continue to make our facilities better. Their facilities are better than 95% of the country already. That's not a facility issue. You pay these kids.
I'm about to say, you got that T-Boone
hell's
Pickens
matter?
money. Oklahoma State got that T-Boone.
Yeah.
T-Boone.
Yeah, they
Pickens
just
money.
got $200 million added to it, I think, a couple of months ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Listen, Gundy's not going anywhere because he is going to have to do something again, like the OEN T-shirt type of deal. He's going to have to do something like that. They're going to have to just really lean hard on cause because they're not ponying up the $25 million. They're not going to go after it, and it's just nuts. They let the guy have carte blanche for so long, and as long as T-Boone was alive, he could do whatever he wanted, and he just keeps on running people from like lower tier 3A high school teams to come be his coordinators. Yeah. And he's not going to be able to go anywhere. It's not going to really set in because there's still a little bit of their fan base, their donors. Yeah, there's still a couple of those people that say that think that once OU's gone, they can really take a leap. I don't see it.
That's
absolutely
untrue. Absolutely untrue. They're screwed up with the fact that they're not going to play Oklahoma is going to ruin their edge that they had. Any edge that they had. And the truth is they were the best. I've said this so many times. The best part of their entire history happened at the weakest time in Big 12 history when all the teams that Texas has been at its worst. And hell, Baylor's won 3 conference championships with 3 different coaches and they've won 1.
Yeah.
That's tough right there.
They've beaten Oklahoma 3 freaking times in 19 years.
That's tough, bro. The battle a team, not the Baylor. It's not like Baylor's a hotbed for recruiting, but they've won the Big 12 3 times with 3 different coaches in the
3 times, 3 different coaches, and they can't win it ever.
If I'm a booster at OSU, I'm like,
every freaking time they gag it. Every time a freaking game matters, they just choke away.
And now, he's not fine. Listen, you can do pretty well finding diamonds in the rough, but he's not finding any of those James Washington. He's not finding any of those types of guys anymore. It's just not happening. And then the shit show that he has at quarterback, it just blows my mind. It really does because the 2 strongest programs that they've thrown out there have been at really, really weak years. And I think that gives them hope.
That's tough, dog.
Yeah. And I truly think that
matters to Brent. That's what he wants to make sure that none of the best players from Oklahoma go anywhere but Oklahoma.
Bro, there's guys taking PWO and NIL deals that would be stars at OSU.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, that's the first thing as a coach, man. I don't care what state you're in. I don't care if it's 5 recruits or 30 recruits. You got to try to do what you can to lock up your state. And once you do that, then you branch out.
Absolutely. But and Coop, I want to ask you about this because I know you have connections with Oklahoma State. When you proved that, look, when all the mass exodus happened last year, at the end of the year, you lose your quarterback, you lose all these other guys, all these starters. I don't give a shit what anybody says. 4 of their top 6 receivers, their best running back, and I know they don't like Dominic Richardson around there. He had more touchdowns and yardage than anybody else. So, it is what it is. You lose all these guys, and they all are saying it's particularly the offensive guys. It's number one, it's because there's the stuff about the offensive coordinator being verbally abusive, blah, 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 blah. This is coming from parents. Okie like Cody's talked about a lot of this stuff. And when they have everybody within the school, within the program, and even like your boosters and stuff have all called out these players, none of them have even thought about freaking, looking into it or holding Gundy and their feet to the fire about it. Any of the coaches that are involved, that is a bad freaking look, is it not? If you know, he acted like he was so, you know, I'm a man, I'm 40 shit. First off, that wasn't even really about a kid. That was him trying to be going off on some woman, which was ridiculous. That was the stupidest thing ever. Well, we don't need to go there, but I'm just saying, if that's what he's known for at the start of his career, he's completely gone full circle now and doesn't give a shit about the kids. And he's proven that.
And here, this
How
is
can
his
you get
play
better?
toy. It's his play toy. That's all it is OSU is his play toy. I don't think that he knows that he can do whatever the hell he wants. Like you talk about it, like if you've got like a Dylan Gabriel last year, or there's zero chances in hell that anybody's going to take your job from you. You don't push yourself. Well, he knows that there's no way that they can get rid of him. So he doesn't push himself anymore. And he just kind of does whatever he wants. And everybody thinks that he's whimsical and quirky and they think it's cute. And, you know, the Oklahoma press in general are a bunch of ass kissers, and nobody's going to stand up and be like, hey, coach, what the hell's going on here? Like, nobody's going to ask that type of stuff. And he's going to, if you do ask him that, he's going to go talk about shooting arrows at a turkey in his backyard or some shit like that. Like, he's not going to stand up and ask. He doesn't have to be accountable to anybody. But what's going to happen is when they get into this new Big 12 and the same shit's happening, that's when people's going to be like, all right, hold on a second. Let's reassess, because we're about to return to what we used to be.
Yeah. I think he said to him, he's like, I found the perfect job. It's like,
it amazes me, man. They're paying
not too
him
much
like
pressure.
he's won a natty. They're paying him like he's won a natty.
$7.2 million.
7.5, I thought it was.
I think that maybe, I mean, you might have to look that up, but it's $7 million for Mike Gundy. I mean, that's like paying $13 for a Big Mac. It's just, it ain't worth it.
Yeah. And plus, yeah, exactly. And it's not even just the 7 million. It's that it renews at 5 years every year.
Yeah. It's a lifetime contract.
Hey, like I say, he found the best job. We can't be hating on that guy because he found the best job ever.
I hope he stays forever, for God's sake. I don't care.
Back to our earlier point. Yearly contracts.
Yearly contracts, baby. You got to do
it
like a government job, dog. Like this.
What have you done for me lately?
I agree. Now, I would say that, you know, that whole outfit in Oklahoma State, nobody really wants to go out there and cover them. They just want to critique them. And I just, outside of the sports animal, which is not very good, nobody has enough money to actually put the assets into sports radio. So, nobody reads a damn newspaper anymore. So you have multiple podcasts, and then he goes out and the quote this week is somebody asked him about his brother being on the radio, and he says, I don't listen to people argue about stuff like that. I'd rather jump off my back deck. And it's like, no, I don't know of any of them that are praising you outside of Robert Allen, and that's because
real quick, Coach I's got to get out of here, Coop. So let me, Coach I, thank you for coming.
Hey, I got to roll too here, but
okay. Well,
hey, appreciate you having me on, fellas.
But yeah, listen, tell everybody how to find you real quick before you roll out of here, and we appreciate you guys coming on, man. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, man. Fanatic Sports on all platforms, man. YouTube, IG, Twitter, and Facebook, man. This is my down the hall in college mate, man. So y'all, hey, Saturday night snap count, 10 p.m. Eastern on the Fanatic Sports Network.
We'll see you on there, Coach. We appreciate you, man.
Coach I.
Yeah.
Tell me again, who did you pick in the rivalry here?
I picked Texas 31-30.
I just asked.
made him say it again.
All right, fellas.
Later, Coach I.
That's fine.
All right, and of course we have Eric Cooper. We appreciate you coming in as well, representing Unfair Sports, since Jay's too good for us these days, appears. You know, I know.
No, it's great. No, yeah, you can catch me on Unfair Sports.
We enjoy having you either way, brother. You could both be on at the same time. That would be fun.
I enjoy the hell out of it. Yeah, no, it's I like chopping it up with everybody else. I mean, obviously, if there was no chat on here, it wouldn't be as fun. I enjoy you guys too. You know, again, here's the whole thing is, when you run into a rivalry game and you say, oh, I have a really, really good idea about what's happening, you're not speaking with intelligence. You know, there's so much that can go wrong here. this could be a game that Texas wins 40-20. This could be a game that OU wins 40-20. This could be a game that is last person with the ball. There's just so many different things that can happen, and a lot of
always the
first
unknown in
time.
these games, man. From high school to college, it's always like that, man. Even in the NFL, look at all the times that Dallas sucks and Washington's good, or vice versa, and they lose the game.
Giants, something like that. Yeah. So, there's again, these are the two best teams that each have played, a full complementary team. And again, I typed it earlier. Texas fans, I'm not saying that you guys are a bad team. Like I said, anything less than 10, you need to be extremely disappointed. This is the opportunity I would like for OU and Texas to roll into the SEC with authority, so that there's no shit with, we knew OU was good, or we saw OU was on the slide, and Texas is what it is. But here's the deal: if you are confusing or comparing OU's defense this year with anything in your memory, you're not doing a good job. You're not paying attention, because it's more than just the stats and the teams that they played. It has absolutely everything to do with the Jimmies and the Joes and the athletic talent. You go back last year,
who gets the edge, right? Who has that hard edge to them that really, I think that could, and I think that could obviously, you could argue that gives the edge to Oklahoma, but I also think that Texas is sick of losing to OU too. But again, it is what it is.
Listen, I think if anything, I think the 49-0 is something that Sark has had to probably coach against more than he ever thought he would, because Texas got up for Alabama last year. They had no business being in that game, and they should have won it. They went into to Alabama this year, and they kicked the living shit out of them. And so right now, Texas is feeling like, we beat these cats 49-0 last year. Listen,
that's not the same football team.
No, it's nowhere near. And so we're going to see. This is why they play the game, right? Coach Herm Edwards. That's why they play the game. Is you got to throw them out there. And I would like to see. Hell, somebody asked me a question: is there a world where OU and Texas both go to the playoffs? There is a world where that happens.
Is there?
And I think so. And I think that if Texas
is too bad, and you're going to have one team that's undefeated, or at minimum one loss, I don't think that I don't know, man. I have a hard time with that.
Listen, I didn't say likely. I said there is a world where, there's a world where 3 Pac-12 teams can get in. Like there's a world for everything. But how pissed off would your mark be at that point if OU and Texas not only carried the conference, played in the Big 12 championship game, but also went to the playoffs and just were like,
I've been meaning to say this before everybody got off, but hey, this would be the one and only time that I would endorse an SEC chant is if Texas and Oklahoma play for the Big 12 championship, they must, any fan in attendance from either side better be chanting SEC the entire game.
I'm thinking they do it on Saturday too.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Yeah. Well, he's not going to. Yormark's not going to be there. Yormark's not going to.
No, but it's going to be on television. It is the game of the week. And
I'm just saying, he's going to be there. Apparently, he's there to check out his new squad.
Yeah.
He'll get the point. He'll get the point.
Yeah. Listen, if Gundy says he doesn't listen to the radio, that's horseshit. And if Yormark says he wasn't paying attention to the game, he's a dipshit. He's paying attention to the game. He's going to get that. Everybody's going to be. You see the fans yelling "hot seat" to Matt Campbell as he walked out of the stadium this past week. People now know that you can yell at Matt Campbell and you're going to get a rise out of him. And that's the same thing. Is once this thing happens, people are going to start, tweeting at Yormark. People are going to be saying in the streets like, "Hey, how's it feel? OU Texas, baby! OU Texas, baby!" And it's going to be a funny deal. So we will. Yeah, and listen, it's in OU Texas, there's a lot of students, and if some of the students start it, depending on when and where, it's a tight game, and going into the fourth quarter, and that chant breaks out, it might be a full unison chant, and we'll see how people adopt it, because this is a fact that OU and Texas fans can sit there, grab arms, embrace. And say, you know what, this this is like at the end of
seriously.
Rocky 2.
Yeah.
At the end of
Seriously.
Rocky 2, because OU and Texas have been treated like absolute shit by Yormark since he stepped on the stage. And you know what?
Yeah, and I hate what they're doing on Twitter right now. This soaking up the freaking fact that OU and Texas are carrying the league still. Stupid.
No, and you know what? And Elio, Brett Yormark may not give a shit because he just doesn't care. He has a job to do, and he's going to focus on doing that. I mean, you're probably
petty,
right.
Man. He's been kind of petty though,
but he's gone out of his way to make a statement that OU and Texas aren't as important as everybody says they are.
I'll give you that. But he does a lot of smack talking, Elio. He does.
He does. I mean, you know, when he went, like he made that comment about Texas Tech, and now he looks like we all knew that he wasn't a football guy, but now he looks like he doesn't have much of a clue. He's a promotions guy, and that's what he has to do. He has to help the Big 12 expand where their reach is, because you're not going to be absorbing any type of a fan base from anywhere.
Absolutely. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but I got to tell you guys, saying that, you know, insinuating Texas and OU were not important to the Big 12.
That was stupid.
That is asinine as hell.
It's for more than half of the income for the entirety of the conference.
Exactly.
And with that, Texas doesn't have to be winning 10 games to still be the top brand in the Big 12. They're going to be there regardless. Now you see the passion once they get there.
Thanks,
but yeah, I mean, it again, like I said, when we were at the very, very beginning before the season started and everybody was all like excited about this conference, then I shit on everybody at the end. And I said, guys, this is going to turn into the Bless Your Heart conference. There's not a headline name in that. And you can't say BYU is a headline name, because BYU and Notre Dame
is that they got Coach Prime and CU, and how long that lasts, we don't know. But if without those guys, I think if it hadn't been for the Four Corners, I think there would have been in trouble. They were going to be in trouble. Aside from
I'm just throwing this out. If Colorado throws out a close to 500 year this year and throws out another one next year, the Prime stuff's going to be over. It was a circus. It was fun while it lasted. It's going to be like the Budweiser frogs. Like, everybody's going to remember it, but nobody's going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, correct.
Unless he wins. If he wins, then it's going to be, how long is he here? Because I promise you, if a homeboy down in Florida State, you know,
Norvell,
even if if Norvell slips up at all.
Yeah.
And Prime, you know where Prime would be good, and I don't want to see this, is A&M. You throw the money of A&M behind Prime's charisma, and that could be a dangerous comparison.
I agree with you, but that whole cult thing, I don't know how well that would sit with him.
Well, yeah, you're going to have, it is what it is, but you have, you know, majority of African-American kids coming in there, and there's just a little scary stuff. Like, there's some scary stuff that goes on down there. And some people are going to be like, all right, well, let's just skip those pieces. But it's Gundy is wrapping it back to Gundy. He is absolutely, you know, somebody joked, but Gundy to Michigan State, he's going to need another Tennessee job to hold over Oklahoma State's head, because I don't think, and I heard it, and I don't even want to say his name on here out loud, but I heard it the other day to where they made a comment about Oklahoma State being completely different from when Gundy got hired. That job was a crap job when he got hired. Right now, they can pull, not a major coach, but I mean, they are a pull like a Wisconsin. They are that type of a pull, and they can get somebody good.
Right.
Could they have done that 15 years ago? No. Les Miles proved to be something, and he moved on quickly. And it's been Gundy since. Yeah. And so, but that job is different. He has transformed that program, but if they don't make a move soon, he can transform it right back.
Well, they're going right back to where they started. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
No, I agree. Hey, wow, we have had 432 viewers overall on this stream. I want to say thank you to everybody, all of our new folks that have come in and checked us out, and of course our regulars. We love you guys as a group, and could not be doing this without you guys. We've been we're growing all the time. I don't know if we hit that 2,500 mark, but we were about 7 away from the number coming in. We appreciate you guys so much. If you haven't become a member or a subscriber, please do hit that subscriber button, man, and get the notifications. You can also check us out if you're one of those. Some people like those audio podcasts. We are on all the audio platforms. Sometimes I'm a little slow with it, but we got somebody helping me with it now, and I've been getting them out. So make sure you jump on there and give us, rate us 5 stars, do all that kind of stuff. We do this for you guys. We appreciate you all coming in, and even you Longhorn fans, we appreciate you guys too. But Coach, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here with them as well. Coop, thanks again for coming on, man. We always appreciate your input. And
they want score predictions. Are you dropping score predictions?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do that. Coach, we'll start with you. Score prediction.
I'm gonna say 28-24. OU.
Okay. Cool.
I can't. First of all, guys, I can't believe I just said that shit. Okay.
Whatever, man. You know where you're going.
Hey, I forget my exact score, but it's going to be in the same realm. But I think this is a game that's going to say a lot about Oklahoma, what they are, where they're at. Yeah. And so I think it's going to be, I'm calling 38-14 Oklahoma.
Yeah. And I had actually on the one I did with Lone Star, I think I was at 28-17 Oklahoma, but on earlier in the week, I was more around that 35-14, 35-17. I'm going to go there too as well. Bump it up a little more.
Boys.
I think they could finish it off. I think
y'all guys making those picks with your heart
is better. I think Oklahoma's defense is better than Texas's, and I think that's where. And I think that their receiver room and quarterback, they're right on with them. So I expect Oklahoma to end up. It may be close for a while. I think they pull away at the end. Seen it.
I fully expect a full team participation. Peyton Bowen has that.
Hey, quit using that dirty name around me.
Peyton Bowen has that. He's got, I believe it's a block field goal, block punt, and we lead the nation in interceptions. And again, let's see here. I think we had 21 last year, and we have 10 already this year.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, some of those edge guys are Mason Thomas, PJ, and I'm going to keep on saying Adebaware because how he asked me to say it. I'm not
Adebaware
I can't remember, but where every moment that Peyton Bowen is an inch away from a pick six, PJ Adebaware has been like this far away from so many different sacks, and I don't think Texas is going to come out and run max protect. They're going to open it. Now we'll see. What does Sark do? Does Sark come out and go, you know what, I'm going to go wide open? Or does Sark come out and say, let's do the little jabs like a prize fight and kind of see what's going on? Because if Sark comes out with, trying to open it up, you're saying, Quinn, we believe in you. Here you go. And I just don't know how many Texas fans deep down just really go, I fully believe in Quinn.
I think that's the scenario we're going to see. I think he's going to come out guns a-blazing. I don't think he's going to go max protect. It just doesn't fit Sark. Yeah. And I could be wrong, but
real quick, just in case you're watching this on the replay or whatever, make sure you guys do go ahead and put your score predictions in here. We're going to give away a T-shirt or something from our store, our merch store. For our OU fans, we'll give away a horns down if you hit it right. If there's a tiebreaker, we'll figure it out. We probably won't be fair about it, but if it's a Texas guy that tied, it's not going to be fair. But just so you know. But we will be giving one away. We will be giving something away. And if a Texas person wins it, we will, maybe we'll just give you a Hall of Fame logo shirt or something like that.
We'll give them a
Something-
horns
whatever you
down
want.
cap. Give them a
We
horns
can do
down
that too.
cap.
We can do that too. We can do that too. But just to be, we appreciate you guys being in here. Please do go ahead and leave your do leave your score prediction in there. If there's a tiebreaker, we'll figure it out how to do it. But again, it'll probably be cheating if it's a Texas guy tied, so you're screwed. Yeah,
I'm with you, Mars. I agree. USC sucks.
USC does suck. All day, every day. It's SUC, not USC. So just remember that. And that's another one of the things that is in our merchandise store. So get in there and check that out. SUC gear, great stuff. We appreciate you guys again coming in here and joining us. We've been on here for a while now. I got to get to my other job, but hey, thanks a lot again. I will see you guys. Got another video coming out in the morning with the Lone Star guys. We're going to continue to be on all week. So keep looking for us. If you hit that bell notifications, you'll always know when Hall of Fame college football is on air. So thanks a lot for coming in, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.